fucking in the past.
Drink that.
My water? Yeah, I will. Ghostbusters.
Busters. I was waiting for somebody to say. By the way, because I think didn't somebody say Paranormal Activity was like one of the movies that they got scared
Down
of?
for the Count mentioned it, but we will talk about it because it's on our
my
list.
list.
Okay, because I just saw it's on your list. Okay, because
Yes.
yeah, going back and like kind of like just getting real familiar with some of those movies that we're talking about. I have a higher appreciation for the first Paranormal Activities movie, like compared to like at the time that it came. Anyway, we'll get into it later. But
Like you got high and now you appreciate it more, or
well, because like you know,
I mean,
when you
that's pretty
watch
much
Blair
me
Witch,
doing
like
anything.
right, when you watch Blair Witch, you know that they're trying to go for the found footage because they're shaking the hell out of the camera. And then in Paranormal Activity, it's kind of like they kind of have mastered the found footage, but they put like highly.
you want to do that?
He just said, "No, I don't want to hear Justin talk anymore." Intro. It's pretty fucked up.
They mastered the found footage. No, I really. So what I was doing was I was looking. I clicked on something to check to make sure my signal strength was good because I got this little USB wireless LAN utility thing that monitors that shit. And then I was gonna go over to my phone and make sure I turned my Wi-Fi off. And instead, I clicked the mouse and I was like right over the outro, and apparently started the outro. So I'm gonna have to let Travis know. Hey, that 2 minutes in, that's not it. Hi, Allison.
Hi, Allison.
Yay.
Are we on Twitch?
We are on Twitch and YouTube and Facebook.
I'm gonna
Fuck
open
off,
the Twitch
Justin.
chat.
5, 6, better pick up dicks.
Pick up dicks.
That's what somebody needs to
This is the
remix.
Getting
is
Off
like
podcast.
Someone needs to remix where like those girls now are like older and they're like twerking to that song now.
Don't do
Or
that.
like,
You know?
1, 2, Freddy's coming on you.
Why? Just ruin
Yeah.
it. Guys.
In the back door.
That
Stop.
arch your
5,
back.
6, gonna
Yeah.
suck some dicks.
I hate you guys.
Ye-
7, 8, gotta stay
Wet
up
mare.
late.
Wet mare, not nightmare. Wet mare.
You're all stupid. Except Will.
No, I'm stupid too. I'm
you
just
aren't-
saying it.
Will's. Yeah. I'm just waiting for Will to say something.
Well, we got like 5 minutes and we're letting people filter in here if anyone besides Allison shows up, which either way, I don't care. They'll all watch it anyway. But Will thinks Katie hates him, and I'm curious as to what that's about. Hi,
What?
JJ.
The other night, which show was it, Matt?
It wasn't the show; it was in the group chat. So Vince was running his mouth in the group chat.
Oh yeah. Vince was running his mouth, and I said, "Matt is my personal Pornhub poppy. Vince is the warden of my heart, and Katie just hates me."
Yeah.
Wait, was this during the show?
No. I thought it was in the
It was
chat
in
of
the
one of
chat,
the
right?
shows, but it was in the group thread.
Yeah,
Oh,
it was in.
okay.
So Tim has like taken that old group chat and just added every podcast you could possibly ever meet. And he added Vince because I think he's adding Vince to Floor Slapper Sports. And I was just joking around. And I was like, who the fuck added Vince without asking me first to this group chat? Because I am the Luke Gallows to Vince's Hot Carl. All his bookings go through me.
Hot Carl.
And we did that whole thing. And then Will was standing up for his choice for Pornhub Poppy, which is not Katie Kinsey Bay.
No, I know.
Oh, Botch Bots and Chair Shots is a house divided because
I
of
know.
it. Allison took Team Katie,
Allison
so I
supports me.
automatically was like Team Vince. I feel obligated to do that now, even though I
And
love
now,
Katie. But now I feel
I'm
like I
house
have to be
divided
yeah,
because I feel like Allison has great taste in Pornhub poppies and terrible taste in pizza. So like, I don't know how to feel about that.
How does she feel about
what's the
Pornhub pizzas though?
She likes pineapple on her pizza, and that's a fucking sin.
It is a sin.
What's the toppings for Pornhub pizza? Panties? What are we talking about here?
It's a white sauce.
It's a white sauce.
I feel like that has to be, yeah.
And a lot of sausage.
You know,
I'm gonna see if, because I on occasion get in a sausage Alfredo pizza from this place I go to, and I'm going to ask them if I can just order the Pornhub, all sausage and white sauce.
I'm sure there's something to be a joke to be made about something in sausage.
Now, is it going to be stuffed crust?
you know, I really question my friendship with you guys sometimes.
But you did say you like gentlemen that make you laugh.
Yeah, if you guys have not,
so you're in the right place. You're in the right place.
Go check out Katie's interview with the Rack, where you can learn, what kind of men Katie's into, what her kinks are, all sorts of things about Katie, and a little bit about the Rack, like the fact that he's a voyeur.
Did you know that he was going to ask that question or no?
No, I didn't know shit that was going to happen.
It was that entire thing was completely improv.
You made that face that you make. I'm
going to listen to it tomorrow.
Sir?
It was completely improv the entire time.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
That's great.
Yeah.
And also, fuck the Rack for outing me about my parody porn fetish.
I like how the wig
that
really
did not. We didn't need to talk about that.
I like how the wig looked on you too. It just fit. It fit you well. For some reason.
Shit! I forgot.
Oh my god.
My co-host should be here for the show.
There he is.
Oh, so cute.
Here's all fucked up, bud.
Well, yeah, because you had a wig on him, and then you ripped said wig off last week.
Listen.
Why are you? Relax.
Join me.
Also, so at Salem, so do they have also like food vendors there too?
They had a few like food vendor people set up. Not a lot, but there was quite a few.
Okay.
All right. I'm gonna run the intro now.
I wonder if they like kind of like
Go,
mix
team,
in like
go.
the witch thing within the food. You know what I'm saying? Broomstick subs, perhaps.
Following podcast contains mature content. The views and opinions expressed by the host are not necessarily those of the host. Listener discretion is advised. Goblins and ghouls, witches and wizards, welcome to the #1 horror movie podcast on Pornhub, Getting Offed, where Halloween is both my favorite holiday and porn category of the season. I am your host, the patron saint of podcast, the Warden Matt Ritter. Yes, it is a porn category. Just go into Pornhub, type in Halloween, you will get a bunch of lovely videos of people fucking people in the ass that are painted like pumpkins and all sorts of things. I am your host, the patron saint of podcasting, the Warden Matt Ritter, and I'm here this evening with my co-hosts, ladies and gentlemen. First and foremost, he came to Halloween dressed as an angry podcaster. He is the host of Botch Spots and Chair Shots. He is a chef by trade and a mark by choice, and I am his personal Pornhub poppy. If you are watching this, you are his people, Mr. Will Gray.
Thank you, Matt. It's a pleasure to be here. I just typed in Halloween into Pornhub on my cell phone, and you are not wrong.
I'm trying.
That was not what I was expecting to see as soon as I typed in that word. So I'm here. I'm excited. Horror movies, not wrestling. Let's do this.
Absolutely. I also have with us the Shaman of Sheelite, the Sultan of Step On Me. For the season, I call her Katie Vick, but you all know her as the host of the Sheelite Showcase, Inside the Mind of In the Crowd, the hardest working woman in podcasting today, Miss Katie Kinsey. Baby.
Hey. What up?
What's going on? And I don't know what the fuck we have down in the corner. But I was supposed to have Justin from the Get Show podcast. This looks like Dr. Doom.
Correct. Yeah. Come on. MF Doom, man. MF Doom.
I like MF Doom.
Yeah. Operation
Quality
Doomsday.
hip-hop.
Yeah. I just want to send a shout out to all my chips and hoes.
And,
live. It's Halloween.
I cannot forget my co-host, who is far more entertaining than Vince, Chucky. Everyone loves Chucky.
Heidi ho.
So before we get into the show, which, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be us talking about the horror movies that actually scared us, we're going to tell some fun stories, or at least I am, about my childhood and some of the trauma that my family brought upon me with horror movies, because I've been watching them pretty much my entire life. It should be a fun show. Creation World is the banner under which the Smacking Around podcast exists, and you can find them on Twitter and Instagram at It's Creation World, ITSCREATIA World. Also, you can go to Linktree/Creation World. That'll get you the Patreon. That'll get you all the links to where you can find us, including Pornhub, because we are the #1 horror podcast on Pornhub. Smacking Raw is also the #1 wrestling podcast on Pornhub, and so on and so forth. If it's under Creation World, it is #1 on Pornhub for podcasting. Also, go check out our Patreon if you are so inclined. We have Return to Wrestling and all of these great things. We have a Facebook group that's facebook.com/Creation World and a website that's creationworld.com. So please go check out everything Creation World and show us your support. And also, there is a merch store, and you can get your pro wrestling, pro choice t-shirts there. All the money that is generated from the sale of those shirts from our podcast go directly to the Women's Reproductive Rights Assistance Project, and all the money generated from those shirts in Katie's podcast goes directly to Planned Parenthood. So if you want to support the women's rights to choose, please go pick one of those up. We would appreciate it. All right. I don't even know how I really want to do this. Does anyone want to go first, or you want me to go first? Are you gonna wear that fucking thing the entire time?
It's just the fact that his eyes are, you can barely just see his eyes. You can just see see the glasses, you don't even see his eyes.
I'm gonna assume that's D-Rod.
Fuck, of course it is.
Yeah.
I mean, I can go first.
All right, Katie.
Ladies first. Ladies first.
What was a horror movie that scared you?
So the first one that came to mind when you asked me this question was The Blair Witch Project. I was definitely too young to be watching this movie. I distinctly remember my brother and sister and the older cousins and the older neighborhood kids, when we would be at my aunt's house, they were all in the basement of my aunt's house watching this movie, and me and my cousin who's my age, we snuck downstairs, but they were like, you need to leave, then maybe a month or two later we get the movie on VHS, and my sister and I, who we shared a room at the time, we were watching it. Bunk beds. I was on the bottom bunk. My sister, unbeknownst to me, fell asleep on the top. And the ending, it's the fact that he's standing in the corner, and I didn't like that. It's that specific part of the movie. Even now, if I watch it, I'm still just no, I can't do it. I ran down 2 flights of steps to the basement where my mom was doing laundry, crying, sobbing, because my sister, who was supposed to be my support system at the time, fell asleep. I had no one to support me in my time of need, so I had to run down the steps sobbing. So I hate that fucking movie. found footage movies creep me out in general, but that was definitely the first one to give me the heebie-jeebies.
So I'm sure we're going to talk about more, or at least another found footage movie. But the fact that it feels real when you're watching these, like it feels like you're watching like it feels like this is, and it's supposed to, and that's the whole point of it. But it's like you're watching someone's like lost camcorder footage back in the day when camcorders were a thing, or cell phone footage, or whatever the fucking case may be, and it's like it feels. Especially when we talk like Paranormal Activity, where like they don't have any famous actors or actresses in it, and it just looks like something that somebody picked up and decided to, you know, cut into a movie and do something with. And I was a little older when I saw Blair Witch, thankfully, so it didn't fuck with me as bad. But the stuff that gets me now is more so the supernatural shit. Like,
yeah.
Me and my wife were literally just talking about this earlier today. There is presumably something that is in our house. We're pretty sure it's friendly, but on occasion, fairly frequently, out of the corner of our eye in the kitchen, it looks like something is walking past the kitchen window when we're sitting in the living room. And we've both seen it.
Oh, no.
We've both seen it. It just happens. We've lived here for 5 years. Nothing bad has happened. Nothing crazy. So, like, not all spirits are bad, but like, we just occasionally see this thing. And like, I was talking to my wife and I was joking. I'm like, listen, I haven't seen it in a while. It probably just got tired of watching me masturbate after you go to bed every night. And then she's like, no, because she actually she talked with you about it with her aunt and all of that. And she's like, no, I've just repeatedly asked it to go away. And it probably got tired of me telling it to go away so many times that it finally just fucking left. And that could be the case. Or maybe, you know, I'm right and it got tired of watching me whack off. Whatever the case may be, you know, I milked Michael Myers so many times before something's like, you know what? I've seen that.
You know, the fact that became a phrase actually irritates me to my core. Like, why did you have to say it and why is it sticking?
I have no idea, but I love it.
I hate it.
It's sticky. It's sticky.
Shut up, Justin.
You guys got anything on Blair Witch or found footage movies in general?
I have 2 found footage on my list.
What do you got?
But I'm going to jump in on Blair Witch for a second because I have to agree with Katie. The ending absolutely terrified me. I remember living in an apartment complex and the bottom floor being empty, like the bottom apartment below me, and walking by the empty living room and seeing through like the sliding doors and stuff as a kid. Like, it absolutely scared the shit out of me. I'm going to use a found footage thing that is kind of the same way. Can I just go ahead and jump in? Like, how do we do this? Okay. One for me that came out later that was genuinely eerie were the Poughkeepsie tapes. Like, that was a horror movie that was absolutely, and it borderline crosses into that, like, I don't like not a snuff film. There's not people, like, it's not real people killing people, but that's how extreme they tried to make it. Like, they caught a guy that was a serial killer, and there were like hundreds of these tapes where he was recording people doing all these ridiculous things to him. And there was some alarming stuff coming from me. So I was like, that was a found footage film that really freaked me out at first. I tried watching it once and shut it off, and then was able to finish it the second time I watched it through.
Yeah, I refuse to watch that just because I've heard so much about it. I just know me as a person, I'm finna be traumatized, so I don't want to do that to myself yet. Maybe if I'm just having a day, I'll watch it, but no thanks.
I will say though, like, the best thing about that movie when it came out, because it was the internet was like in its infant state, so then you didn't really know if this was real or not, because the whole marketing scheme of it was that, like, you know, the news found footage, they put it out like they were missing, they like legit like went on the whole thing about keeping it, I'm gonna do a wrestling term, kayfabe, you know what I'm saying? They were kayfabe about it. You know, like the IMDb still says like they're missing, like the cast was missing and stuff. So like a lot of people played into it before the movie came out. So you went into it thinking like, oh shit, this is actual found footage, you know? And then like you're watching the whole thing and you're like, damn, like this is kind of eerie, you know what I'm saying? Like it's this, I mean, but when you look at it back now, it's just people like running around in the woods, you know, a guy peeing in the corner. And then it's like,
What he's doing?
you know what I'm saying? It's like probably a spider came out of the corner and bit his dick, and he was like, ah! That's all the screaming
He
that
was
they
too
heard.
embarrassed to turn around.
Yeah,
Or he got an STD from the witch and it was burning when he
yeah,
peed.
from the girl. Yeah.
Why?
Can you imagine how bad like spooky chlamydia would be? Like if you had like above regular chlamydia, you got like spooky chlamydia because it came from a witch. That would be terrible. That's the worst STD ever.
Spooky. Off to a great start.
That, ladies and gentlemen, is why if you date, you never cross a witch, because you do not want her to curse your dick.
Yeah.
Which is
Spooky
That's
chlamydia
very
is
true.
terrifying.
You're gonna get spooky chlamydia if you cross a witch.
So, Will, specifically that movie, what any scene specifically that really stands out that really, really freaked you out, or just the found footage aspect of it as a whole?
Well, during the movie, there's one specific person that he abducted that was one of his victims. And without getting too gory and in depth, it's not necessarily what he did to her. It was the things he was making her do. Like in one scene, she was dressed up like a clown, bouncing on a balloon until it popped. Like it was just really weird, uncomfortable stuff to watch where you were like Juss was saying, they almost made it look real. And you were like, this is just uncomfortable. Even the people in the movie were like, I don't know why I had to watch that.
Right. I kind of feel like that's a kinky thing that, you know, I personally wouldn't be into and we'll talk about it, but yeah, that's got to be a kink for somebody.
I mean, clearly for that dude.
Yeah.
And like he specifically was like, pop it. And I was like, oh God, yes, sir. Like it was weird. It was the whole thing is just a psychological mind fuck. From beginning to end, like the cops talk about it. Like the guy was like, I had to watch through every video and now I'm pretty much going to die. Like it was just like everybody in the movie looked traumatized.
Hey, Juss, I don't know what happened to your camera. Oh, there you go.
No, he's.
What's up?
Oh.
No, I did that on purpose.
You couldn't you just couldn't take the mask off. You had to blank
He said,
out
oh,
for
no,
a
it's gone.
Oh, boy. Since we're on found footage films, we already mentioned it. The Paranormal Activity, like we said, when it first came out.
Yes.
So, but here's the thing. Specifically more for me, Paranormal Activity 2, because I fucked up. So here's what happened with Paranormal Activity 2. After it came out, I was in school for, the shoot job. And while I was in school, like we go to school, we get off, and I was staying in this hotel, and it was like 3 p.m. We had been done with school, and I'm like, all right, well, I kind of want to go see a movie. Nobody else really wanted to go. It was a fucking Tuesday. So I went and I watched this movie in the theater at 4 o'clock in the afternoon on a fucking Tuesday, completely by myself. And there is nothing more terrifying than watching a scary fucking movie in an entire theater all the fuck alone, and then having to go back and stay somewhere strange like a hotel that you've never been in before for the fucking night.
No, that.
What up, Tim? What up, Tim?
No. Hi, Tim. Ironically enough, I also saw Paranormal Activity 2 in theaters. Except I was on vacation, and there was like all of the kids like went to the movie theater like down the street, and it's the fucking kitchen scene where all the fucking cabinets open. No,
Right,
I swear to God, I had a heart attack. I can't. I know it's coming, and it freaks me out every time. I'm like waiting. I'm like cringing. That scared the absolute shit out of me.
My life is a series of bad decisions and some good ones. So,
No, same.
Amen.
Hi. Shy.
By the way, hi to Tim, Allison, Vince, JJ, if you're still here. Will, who is
what the fuck?
Yeah, well, Vince is a hater.
Wow.
Will, who is also in the chat and on screen. We appreciate you guys being here. But anything, because I know Justin, because I asked everyone, I'm like, hey, can you send me a movie that freaked you guys out that you guys want to talk about? so that I could make the thumbnail for this. And Justin said religious horror. And when I thought religious horror, like the first thing that came to mind was anything like demon oriented, not necessarily like specifically in churches or anything, but like that's what the first paranormal, all the paranormal activities until you get to like the next dimension, or like once it gets weird after I think it's like 3 or 4.
Yeah.
It's this demon that's like attached itself to this girl and is hunting this girl, and like you see the hoof prints and everything. And the idea that there's a demonic entity in your house, because it's not a regular haunting. Like that was the whole thing, is like, oh, we can't just get up and move because this thing is fucking attached to her and it's following her wherever we go. I would have, like, she was cute, but I would have left her ass. Like, and the guy in that movie was a fucking douchebag. Like he got what he deserved. Like he was an asshole. Mika.
Oh,
Mika.
yeah, in the
Mika
original, Mika, yeah.
And Katie. No.
Yep.
Yeah.
So if you ever meet a guy
No,
named Mika,
that was the first
do not
one.
date him.
On
Oh,
site.
shit.
Yeah, no, in the first one it
Oh,
was
if you-
Mika and
if you meet
Katie, and then
somebody
the
named-
second one it was Katie's sister, and Katie came to visit.
The sister, yeah.
Yeah. It was like a
And Hunter, yeah.
prequel kind of thing. It was a prequel to the first movie.
No, it would
The
have been a
second one,
sequel.
actually, I think out of
No,
all,
it's a
was that?
prequel for the most part. Because the demon's with her
No, I think
sister,
it's a sequel.
and then I can't remember her sister's. I can't remember Katie's sister's name. But after they have the baby and they bring the
Is it
baby back, Kristen, something like that. If it's
Yeah.
Chrissy, that's really weird because that's my sister's name and I can't have that.
Whoa.
It's Christy. I think it's Christy.
Yeah.
So they have the baby and then all the weird shit starts happening. And then Christy's husband figures out that it's attached to Christy. And then he somehow gives it to Katie. And then all the first movie takes place.
But then we come back at the end,
Yeah.
and Katie comes back and steals the
Right.
baby.
It's
Right,
like a
right.
sequel and then real time and then or prequel, real time, sequel.
Yeah, it's all in one.
Oh, so
Yeah.
yeah,
Time's all
okay.
fucked
So
up.
what? Yeah, I guess what you're saying is true. Like the second movie is happening the same time the first one is happening.
Yeah, like a little bit before
Okay.
and then during and then after the events of
Gotcha,
the first
gotcha.
movie.
And then the third one is like the full-on prequel when you go and you see them as children.
That one's
Yeah.
creepy.
That's
Yeah.
one.
Ugh.
That and Marked Ones is like my favorite one.
The marked ones, isn't that the one where it's like the witches? And like there's the scene where the kid drops the video camera down in the the little
The
vent in the ceiling, and then he
Uh-huh.
like catches her doing the little coven
The
thing.
seance. Yeah. Yeah.
That was
See,
a
the
freaky
marked
one.
Marked ones.
No, the marked ones is where they lost me because they got away from the family, and then there was like the whole like we walked through a portal and ended up in the house in the first movie.
Oh,
Part of-
yeah. That's Marked Ones.
That fucked me up. I was with it until they showed up in the first movie walking through like a closet door or some shit.
Yeah.
Now they like walk through some weird portal into the first movie, and I'm like, you jumped the shark here for me.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen that one. now
The
that I
Marked
think about
Ones?
it.
It's
Yeah, I
on
don't know if
Vudu.
I've seen that one.
Oh,
It's on
I think
Vudu.
I've seen all of. I'll probably.
Yo.
I think I've seen all of them except that one.
Getting off watching.
Did you know there was a 7th one released last year?
I feel like I did know that.
Paranormal Activity Next of Kin. I was just looking up the series because I knew there were a couple that I mixed.
That.
Yeah, because I knew I didn't see Ghost Dimension or Next of Kin because I thought Ghost Dimension was the last one.
I
Same.
saw Ghost Dimension. I've not seen Next to Kin. That's interesting. I said Vince is a hater because he came in and said hi to Justin and Will, but not me or Katie.
That's disrespectful. Rude.
Gracias,
No.
copy.
Paranormal Activity.
Órale.
I liked Paranormal Activity
Oh.
because where it was supposed to be super scary, if you watched it in not a scary environment, it almost got humorous in the sense that it would be like just normal people living their
Yes.
life. And then as soon as it got dark, you were like, now some spooky shit's going to happen. And then it's like normal people living their life and spooky shit's going to happen. And like that was the one flaw to the series, especially in the first 3 that I feel, because you definitely knew, okay, it's nighttime. Now some shit's going to go down. That would be my one critique. But the first Paranormal Activity, scared it was good, like good jump scares. The cabinets, the guy dragging her down the hallway.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I remember, I think I was like watching the first one like in my living room. So like I was just like, you know, on the couch with my sister. And I remember I didn't want to put my feet down on the ground because I was like, something's about to grab me and I'm going to disappear. I have irrational fears like that. I don't like these
That's
fucking
hilarious.
movies. They mess with my brain.
All right. We're going to go
And
back
the
in
thing, too,
time.
that,
Oh,
Blair
sorry,
Witch-
Justin. Go ahead.
hold on. Yeah, just real quick before I tie things up. Like the two things that I liked about Blair Witch and Paranormal is that like there was literally like no soundtrack, but they use the element of music and sound at the right moments to jump scare you. You know, when the kitchen scenes in particular in Paranormal, like shit, you know, goes on top of the roof and the cabinets open, like there's a big boom out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's like mistimed, so like you kind of get that extra gear, which they kind of did a little bit in Blair Witch too. They kind of had like a little like humming, hissing noise at the when like they were gonna like have like the weird freak out scene in the tent. So that's those elements of like old school camera techniques that they used to use back in the day. I really appreciate those. Thank you.
No, I'm with you on that. We're gonna go back in time a little bit. So when Katie was scared by Blair Witch, most of us were probably teenagers. So before Katie was, you know, a twinkle in her absentee father's eye, I was a child, and
The disrespect.
I thought, I mean, you made this very clear about not being a fan of that man, and I thought it was okay. I thought that was fair game. I apologize.
Wow.
I just
was I not
drank
supposed to
coffee.
say
I
that?
don't know if you saw it. I just drank coffee. I was trying not to spit it out.
Like, we've
Damn.
been around each other a lot. You've
Continue.
made that joke a lot. I figured we were good.
I just did not. Wow.
But you
Are
just
we
the
good?
way you did just slid it in there. You know?
I just assumed
Yeah,
if I had said
okay.
a twinkle in your father's eye, you would have been like, "Fuck that, man," and then so I got out of the way.
just want to ignore the comments. What just happened?
So anyway,
Anyway,
before that,
Absentee.
Okay.
Jesus Christ.
before Katie was a thought, the first movie that ever terrified me was Stephen King's It. And that fear of clowns stuck with me for a very long time, because this is a clown, which, you know, McDonald's, Chicago, we got Bozo, like there's supposed to be these but it eats fucking children. And on top of that, I have a very twisted family. So in particular, I remember my grandparents had a cottage, and in the cottage there was a shower. It was my dad's mom and her husband. And there was like this pink like drain thing in there that almost kind of looked like it's red hair. So it used to freak me out just even going in there and taking a shower. But they built an addition on to the back of the house. So the vent in the wall that was supposed to let the steam outside, you know, when you're showering, actually let steam out into that addition in the back room, which is where everyone sat and watched TV and did all of these things. My mom, while I was taking a shower, not long after we had watched this movie again, and I'm already terrified, climbed up to the vent and whispered, "We all float down here," into the fucking vent while I'm taking a shower. And I lose my shit. I run out of the shower, leave it on, wrap myself in a towel, come out of the bathroom screaming. I'm probably 8 or 9 years old. My family is dying laughing. I'm damn near in tears because I think there's a fucking clown. There's a scene in the movie where he comes out of the fucking drain.
Yeah.
Well, that poor little kid's taking a shower.
Yeah.
So that's what I think is about to happen, and this fucking thing is going to eat me. So that freaked me out about clowns for years. Like, we'd go to haunted houses. I did not fuck with clowns. And I told my wife, I'm like, I'm either going to leave you behind or we're going to get kicked out because I'm going to hit this fucking thing in the face. I do not fuck with clowns. It's only been recently that I've kind of reconciled, you know, like I could probably take a clown.
You take a clown.
You
in
could
the
probably,
face.
you
There's a
probably,
chance, but there's still a chance you couldn't, though, and that's the worry.
You know
That's
what?
the
I'm willing
worry.
to take that chance at this point, though. Like, I'm here for it. I got
That's
something to
insane.
protect now.
That's true.
I'll fuck a clown up.
I'm not scared of clowns. I'm scared of spiders.
Okay.
Though.
Really?
Mhm.
Yes.
A little bit arachnophobia.
Yes.
Arachnophobic. I was just looking up what the fear of clowns was.
Yes.
Oh, I can't remember the name of it.
Coulrophobia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, because the actor that played it, the clown,
Tim
is
Curry?
or Pennywise the clown.
Tim Curry?
Yes, Tim Curry is in so many other movies like Home Alone 2 and shit. Every time I see that fucking face and his smile, it freaks me the fuck out, and it reminds me of that clown sitting in like the fucking grave, just smiling and waving and holding the red balloons and shit. Like
Mhm.
red balloons also kind of, if I just see random groups of red balloons chilling, it kind of sets me off a little bit. The new movies, I actually think it was the new movies that helped me because I was not like, after I saw them, I'm like, all right, yeah, it's not as bad. Like they don't freak me out that way. And then I was able to
Yeah.
kind of settle it. So I think the new movies kind of helped because I enjoyed them. And I also sat down and read the entire book. But yeah, that clown, not as
really?
creepy in my opinion as fucking Tim Curry as Pennywise the clown.
Tim Curry was the perfect Pennywise. Like he does, like just in general, he does have a creepy smile. Like, and it fits so well when they chose him to be Pennywise. Which, goddamn, sir.
And he's still creepy as fuck, Alice. Then I don't know why I said your name
Yes,
like that,
Allison.
but Allison.
Clue.
Alice.
I
Clue
read
is a
Alice
great movie.
and
Yes, Allison.
Wonderly. Yeah,
Clue's fantastic.
Allison.
Clue is a fantastic
Um,
movie.
Clue is a great movie. Rocky Horror is a great movie too.
Of course.
I was reading Allison's thing too.
99. God, Benji.
I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about.
It's the song.
Oh.
The song. 99 red love balloons.
Yeah.
Just like that.
Real Big Fish does a
Justin.
really cool version of that.
Do they?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
You know about Real Big Fish?
I know about Real Big Fish, but
Yeah.
I've never heard of that song before in my life.
Yeah, they do a fantastic version. I'll send it to you.
Yeah,
or we
no, I
can
know about
karaoke it
Um,
post show for the post show.
I will
We could probably do that too.
1000% karaoke it.
Justin, what you got on your list?
Okay, so for me, yeah, so Paranormal Activity is on there. Blair Witch is it's like a honorable mention. But I think in our chat we were all kind of on the same realm of like Strangers is one of those movies
Mhm.
that's like in between horror and just straight up, terrifying. Because when you're watching Strangers, it's basically like a home invasion just gone wrong, and the feel of the whole movie is that like this could happen to anybody because it's just like any small town that you go to, just saying. And then at the end, like all the shit that they go through, they ask that question, which we all ask as an audience, like, why is this happening to them? And they just say, just cause. Like, fuck, that's scary. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Because you were home.
Because you were home.
right, because you were home.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck, dude. Like that's
It
the
makes
worst
you not
part,
want to
you know what I'm saying?
answer your door. Like I thank God for
Yes,
Ring
that's
doorbells.
why we have
now,
Ring.
because,
That's
like,
That's why we have Ring.
That's why we got ring. Yeah, honestly, like I just watched this movie for the first time. What was it, like a few
What?
weeks ago?
this year. Yeah.
Yeah, because I knew the premise of the movie, and that scared the absolute shit out of me. I don't like movies where things can legit happen. And I think I was home alone when I watched it, which really fucked me up. But no, yeah, like Reek, who was it can't be here because
Shout out.
work, but he wanted us to talk about this,
Yeah.
and I was like gladly because this movie traumatized me. It's the fact that it's loosely based off the Manson murders. Big
Yeah.
red flag.
Yeah.
The fact that there's not a whole lot of music at all in the movie, and it's just like
Yeah.
silent.
None. Yep.
That scares me because like I'm out here holding my breath. I hate Benji so much. No, it's just the fact that this legit could happen, did happen in some way, shape, or form. And these three people just said, yeah, it's because you were home. We literally fucked your lives up, killed the dude
Yeah.
The chick somehow stayed alive, which kind of pisses me off.
Oh
It's
yeah,
'cause,
Liv
like,
Tyler's medic. Yeah.
like, why? I don't know how that all happened.
Did
But
she like? We don't know what happened. Like, we don't know if the ambulance got there in time.
Right.
She may
well,
have
that I mean, yeah,
She
she's
could've
alive
grabbed
at the end of the movie, to our knowledge.
ish, kind of.
Ish,
Ish.
whatever.
Yeah.
Hated it.
Yeah.
It's scary.
Same thing. My wife will not
And
watch this fucking.
the
Like,
whole
we
thing
watched
was
it
eerie.
once.
It was very eerie. Really? Okay.
Justin and his
Sorry, go ahead.
goddamn
So,
delay.
we were all like, "Go ahead." Sorry. Go for it.
My wife will not watch this movie. We've watched it, I believe, once. Every time I put it on, she's like, "I'm gonna go to bed," or "No, I'm not doing that," or "I'm out." Blah blah blah. He's putting his fucking mask back on. Freaks her out. Now, me personally, again, like this is one of those situations where I feel like I could win. Oh, he didn't put his mask. Oh, he did. There he is. I feel like I could survive this. Like, I feel like I could take 3 psychos that try and come into my house. I feel like I could handle this. I feel like I've got a level enough head to where I'm not just shooting the first person that comes around the corner until I can see them. Because when they blew that guy, when he shot his friend and killed his friend,
I knew it was gonna happen too.
Oh, yeah.
Like, why would you not shout your friend's name? Like, what the fuck? Like, why? And then he shot his face clean off. Homie.
Clean off. No more face.
I know.
No more face.
I do feel like I could survive this though. So the strangers doesn't really freak me out. Like, dude in the sack, like I feel like I could take him. And if I could take him, I could take the other 2. Like I feel like I'll be all right.
Well, the one chick just didn't do anything, basically. It was the baby doll mask one who was...
It was the
the
baby
main
doll
catalyst.
that did like a lot of the. Yeah.
She was the psychopath of the group. There's no questioning that.
My wife is absolutely terrified of those movies though. Like,
I don't blame her.
One of my favorite things about that movie is playing off of what Katie was saying about the music, because the only music you hear in that entire movie is the same song on the record playing on repeat because she started it and then they skipped it.
Yeah.
So that, and you only hear it when they're filming in certain parts of the house, because she'll go from the living room where the record player is and it's really loud, and then she'll go into the back bedrooms and it starts to quiet down again. That is a super cool, like cinematic, like thing to use, because the music gets quieter and louder and back and forth, but it's always the same thing on repeat the whole movie, which was awesome.
I agree.
Right.
Music,
And you
in
felt like you were
general-
in the house.
Yeah.
Every time you try to talk.
Like, I know it's his internet, but I almost feel like it's on purpose.
It's
Like,
1,000%
I
on
feel like
purpose
he's
at this point.
fucking with me, but I know it's his internet. I really do. Absolutely. And music in general in horror movies, like, you think Halloween. Again, quick story. Again, when I was young, I was probably 6 or 7. We used to trick or treat at my mom's house, and again, my mom is sadistic and loves to fuck with me. She's the reason I watched horror movies, and now she's like, I can't believe you're into horror movies like that. I'm like, well, you made me watch them as a child. Now I'm obsessed with them, so you kind of did this. But there was a guy dressed as Michael Myers who was with his kids trick-or-treating. We had finished trick-or-treating. We were home back at my grandmother's. So my mom, because the guy had come up and my mom had like seen him, and what he was doing was he was acting like Michael Myers. Like his kid would go to the door and he'd like stand behind the bushes while his kid was at the door and just like peek around and shit. My mom saw this. She went and talked to this dude and said, hey, can you come to our house and knock on the door, and we'll send, the kids out and you can give them a good scare. So sure as shit, they're like, oh, hey, will you go hand out candy? And I'm like, yeah. And I run there and I open, and Michael Myers is standing in the fucking doorway of this house as I open it up, and I freak out. I book it down the hallway into the kitchen, slide around the island. I'm hiding under there again, pretty much in tears. My mom is laughing her ass off. It's okay. It's not real. Blah, blah, blah. Having a fucking blast, terrifying me. She's going to hate, if she ever listens to this, she's going to hate this. She hates when I tell these stories.
I've heard that story twice, and it's funny.
That's
every time.
hilarious. That's hilarious.
But the use of music in Halloween, if you think like Insidious, that fucking Tiptoe Through the Tulip song,
Yes.
because it's so grating, his voice and everything, and it's like creepily happy, and it makes you feel uneasy even if nothing uneasy is happening.
Yep.
100.
100% true.
Katie, what else you got on your list?
Where should I go next? I just thought of it while we were talking. It's not so much like it scared me, but it like really just like gave me like this weird feeling in my chest. It's called Hush.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I just wrote that down.
I just wrote it down too.
Uh-huh.
Because we were talking about music.
Yeah,
there are no Tiny Tim fans in any fucking house.
True. But Hush, if people don't know the movie, the main character, who I love her, she's fantastic. Like, she was in Haunting of Hill House, and that was a great show. She's deaf, so she lives in like the middle of the woods, and this masked man, and it's the mask. I think that's what gets me.
The whiteout. It's where you can't see any features at all, and it's not like a Michael Myers mask. It's like
a Jabberwocky's mask.
Yeah, it's so weird.
Yeah,
like the Uncanny
Valley.
The Uncanny Valley where it looks human but not really.
Yeah.
God, what? Yeah.
It's that like there's no really music or sound in it at all because of her, and it's her point of view. The only time you really like hear anything is when she's talking to herself at the end because she's slowly losing her mind and blood, and it's like she's having this internal monologue. She's also a writer, which is a cool like aside in the movie. But the way that's shot, you're like holding your breath, trying to like, you don't know where he is. He like kills the neighbors who are like miles away, and it just gives me that thing in my chest. It's not necessarily cringy. It's just like tension. You know,
I was laughing at what was said in the chat, not you.
I know.
I'm sorry.
I know. I don't make the rules, Allison. That's just how she chooses to live. I mean, she was fine until that day. She's a smoke.
Isn't that the story of every horror movie ever made, though? Everything was fine until that day.
Yeah. And again, this is another home invasion movie. So like,
yes,
definitely a sticking point for you is people in masks breaking into your house for shits and giggles, trying to hurt you.
Like so the idea of going to the McCamey Manor where they're actually going to abduct you and kidnap you is not something you're into?
No, I don't really want to be abducted, kidnapped, trafficked in any way, shape, or form. No thanks. It's not really my thing. Yeah, anyone comes into my house or on my property, I know where guns are. Game on.
Damn.
So
wow.
Not visiting Katie.
Yeah.
Here's my question. So like my thing is like I'll talk about it here in a minute. I'll let Will go and then we'll talk about it. But like I said, a lot of the supernatural stuff freaks me out. Like because you're laying in bed, you hear creaking, like my house is all wood floors. The cat makes noises and it sounds like a grown person running above me because she's fucking fat, like whatever. Like you hear these noises. I'm wondering, as a deaf person, if you can't hear any of that and you don't know they're coming, is that more or terrifying?
Probably more terrifying.
I think if I would be scared all the time, I think.
Because you can just turn, like, I think in the movie, she just turns at one point and sees him standing at the fucking door.
Yeah.
Like, this is after someone, like, was banging on the fucking glass. Fuck off, Benji. Banging on the glass, like, because they're dying. And she doesn't notice, but then turns around, sees a bloody handprint, and the dude just standing there. That's terrifying.
It is, but again, I feel like a lot of fear is anticipation. You hear something, and then you're like, okay, what's coming? Like you're laying in bed at night, you hear like a creak, and you're like, oh, what the fuck was that? After you watch a scary movie, like it's the anticipation of is something there, and then you're waiting for it to appear. Whereas that's more of just like a shock value, like you turn around and someone's there and you didn't expect them. I don't know what's more. I don't know what me personally I'd be more terrified by. Both are freaky, but I feel like I guess if I turn around and it's a fucking murderer in a mask and not just like I turn around, oh, hey, there's my wife. What the fuck are you doing standing so close behind me? You almost gave me a heart attack. Like,
I think
it's
it's
different.
situational.
She likes to do that too, by the way. People just like fucking with me. Like, she likes to creep up behind me and yeah.
That's fair. But Kate's great. So.
That's not bad.
She is.
That's not bad.
Oh, Justin, hold on a second. She wanted me to mention, since I'm talking about her, that one of the movies that terrified her was the cartoon Little Nemo as a child, with the kid on the bed who goes to Nightmare Land. Like, still fucks with her to this day. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you should probably go look it up. I don't think it's very easy to find, but I believe it's Little Nemo or Captain Nemo, one of the two. But yeah, it's about a kid on a bed in his dreams, and he like travels to Nightmare Land.
Yeah, that's Captain
creepy
Nemo.
Shit.
Yes,
Yeah,
I know
that's
the
definitely
movie.
Captain
I know the
Nemo.
movie.
Yeah.
Captain Nemo freaked her
Yo,
out.
shout out. That's a deep.
That's
cut.
a deep track.
I love
yeah.
that. Yeah, that's a deep one. Like, cause like the bed is like the vehicle, so like it goes from like different scenes, and you're just on the bed the whole time. Yeah, that's a good movie. Damn. Because of that, I lost my train of thought. Because I was not expecting to hear Captain Nemo. You know,
We were talking about Hush and hearing things and being scared, or hearing versus not hearing.
Right. Well, I was gonna say, like, just going back on the Stranger Things, going back on this movie Strangers, is the the sound that you hear like when people are walking through the basement and shit. Like, what I'm saying, like, just those like thumping noises, like it gets me like scared too, because like you hear shit in the middle of the night too, and you're thinking like, whoa, what the fuck was that? So I don't know if I was like to choose either being like startled just because I don't have hearing, or the eerie noises. I don't know. I think I would have to go with eerie noises.
Both suck.
I kind of want to hear. I kind of want to hear.
Will, what else you got on your list?
Okay, the one movie from my childhood that scared me more than anything, and it's playing off of what you've been talking about a few times, is The Nightmare on Elm Street. And here's why. I could handle all the real world, get in front of me with a knife. I was a fast kid. I was nerdy as shit, but I could run. Like I felt like real world stuff, I could run away from you. What freaked me out the most about Freddy Krueger was the fact that the motherfucker got you in your sleep. You couldn't get away from him. Everybody has to sleep eventually. And that's what freaked me out the most, because even in a scary movie, you're like, when you're a kid and you watch a scary movie, you're like, oh shit, that was scary. I hope it doesn't get me. But then you're thinking about Freddy Krueger and you're like, as soon as I go to sleep, I'm fucking done. Like, that's what freaked me out about Freddy Krueger, was that he wasn't real. He could get you in your dreams. So the stuff that seemed completely unrealistic and out there is what scared me more than like Jason Voorhees standing in front of me with a machete.
I think we talked about this on the Havoc Hour, but I don't know if any of you who are here have listened to those. If you haven't, you should go check out the horror movie recap stuff that we did on the Havoc Hour. But weird Nightmare on Elm Street fact: there are certain movies that in horror franchises I remember as like what is in my mind the marquee movie from my childhood, and for whatever reason, it was Nightmare on Elm Street 2. The bus that they were on, that whole dream scene, like that is the one that, like, from my childhood, like Freddy in the real world coming out of him and all of that, that is the one that really stuck with me as like what in my mind was a Nightmare on Elm Street for whatever reason from the franchise, until I got older and they call it the gay nightmare. Got older and watched the franchise over and over and over again and fell in love with it and all of these things. But yeah, no, that was the one that always really stuck with me as a kid. And then, you take the bus at some point and you have that in your mind. Like, oh, I'm going to get on the bus. And like, why is the bus driver wearing that creepy brown hat? And thank God there are no deserts in fucking Illinois. Because if there were, be freaking the fuck out.
True.
Well, the one thing too about Nightmare, yes, Dream Warriors was good. The one thing about Nightmare on Elm Street that I loved about the movie is that like how Freddy would like kind of be your friend and kind of fuck with you, and then he would kill you. you know. So he would like kind of like do things to you that like you kind of liked, but he would use it against you, and basically like he will fuck you up. So it's like as a kid, I'm like, man, am I supposed to like not like this guy? Because this guy's kind of doing things that I like, and then he just fucks you up by doing it. Like, I can't remember if it's Dream Warriors the one after, but remember the guy's like he loves comic books, and so they enter his world
That was
of
Dream
him
Master.
being like a comic book like superhero, right? Was it Dream Master? Okay, so like the kid thinks that he could defeat him because it's his dream, but then Freddy's like, oh, guess not, you know, and then so then he flips the script on him, and he actually kills him by like shredding the paper and everything like that, and then he ultimately dies because of that. So like that's why I like Freddy Krueger, and then, like the whole marketing of Nightmare on Elm Street too. It was like a fucking party.
So it's funny you mentioned that, Benji. If you go listen to the latest Inside the Mind of that is available on Katie's show with the rack, he asks her, surprisingly not even knowing that this was going to drop on Halloween at the time that it happened, a fuck, marry, kill question, and Katie said she was going to marry Freddy Krueger, and he explains why that is a bad idea. Yeah, I listened to it again, and it was fantastic. And you guys
I
are gonna have a
did
lot of fun with
not
that.
for that reason.
But technically both. So in the 80s, what happened was there was a bunch of controversy around the second part of your question. So they ended up kind of cutting back that part of Freddy and just making him a child murderer to avoid backlash. That was the original intent. So when the remake came out, they decided now that all of that is kind of cooled off, we're going to go with the full intent of what Freddy was supposed to be and really play into that. But he was both. He's also a sick fuck, but he's also funny too. And to speak to what Justin said, like this, he tried to get like you aroused and then murder you. Like he sends you a naked chick in your waterbed, so you're hard, and then all of a sudden like turns into Freddy, or like he's a topless nurse, and then you look up and it's Freddy's head. Or like you're making out with the guy that you like, and then all of a sudden you feel a tongue sliding up your leg, and you look down and it's his tongue. Like he had a weird fetish of like trying to like edging you and then murdering you.
And then you remember when she was taking a shower and he had his hand in the middle?
Is it weird that you're into edging and murder, or?
Well, as a kid, like those things terrified me, but as I'm an adult, I'm like edging with a little bit of fear of death. That sounds like a pretty fucking solid Monday night to me. Like I'm into it. Maybe I should, like I take it back. I'm into the, like, yeah.
You're right. I'll try anything once.
The way I look at it now is like, as an adult, if I'm gonna die in a dream, like I'd at least like to see some titties before I die. Like, at least thank you for that.
I feel like that should be mandatory in every man's last dream. There should be some boobies.
Or woman.
Or woman.
Or woman. Well, specifically, I was.
Wow.
Why not both? Why not both?
That is so thoughts.
Justin, what else you got on your list? Because I know you told me religious horror.
Yes, religious horror. So like Stigmata. Do you guys ever see Stigmata?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, that is a fucking crazy ass movie. Like I told them before, Will, that like I'm like suspicious when somebody gives me gifts like a cross or like something like up from a church, because I don't know if like words been or somebody cursed that shit, you know what I'm saying, just because of that movie. So like I take it and then kind of just like when no one's looking, just leave it somewhere and then like just like go about my business. But that movie, man. That movie was like the subway scene when like they have like a semi crucifixion type of like imagery in there. That still fucks me up, And the whole fact that it's like kind of like unboxing some shit about religion is also kind of like eerie too. So, but that movie is pretty wild too. Like, still can't watch it. I've only watched it once.
That's the great thing about religious horror is it's taking something that a lot of people find comfort in, something that in their mind helps make them feel safe and understand the world, something they use to cope. With addiction, a lot of people, give up whatever they're using to cope with the world, and then they find religion, and it kind of helps them sometimes move past all that. And when you take that, you twist it, like The Nun,
right?
Where it's this holy angelic figure that is possessed and twisted by a demonic force. They're talking about The Exorcist in the chat. Any sort of demonic possession, the possession of like Hannah Grace or The Last Exorcism, you know, The Right, all of these movies.
The Right,
where,
yep, The Right.
Yep.
Good one.
They take all of these movies and they take something that is supposed to save you from this stuff and they taint it in a way to where it's not saving you, it's actually kind of fucking you up. Like, is fantastic way to like get into the psyche of people and really fuck them up. And I watched The Nun and Annabelle Comes Home last night, and with a lot of religious horror, it's demonic possession. We talked about, you know, there's Annabelle, there's, you know, the stuff in The Conjuring, there's The Nun, there's then you have like the other end of like the exorcism movies and the stuff with Stigmata and all of this. Another movie that I just watched. Oh, what the fuck was it?
It's The Exorcism of Emily Rose. Have you seen that one?
That's one of them. Yeah,
that's fucking real. That's the other part too. Like I was like, when I was in the theater, we were like, I remember it was a packed house, and I just remember just being in the theater dead silent when those tapes came out. Like when they had a part where they were playing the tapes, and everyone was like, oh shit, I think those are like the actual tapes, you know what I mean, that they use like when that time happened. And it was just so like, I was like, yeah, I want to leave now.
I would like to go home, please.
I don't want to see what happens at the end of this movie.
But that's what I was getting at, is like, you're watching this and it's like, what do you do when you get to the point to where it's like not even God can save you, because these priests are being killed while reading from the Bible and trying to exorcise these demons and all of these things. I can't remember the name of the fucking movie that I just watched, but it was just the other night. It had Jeffrey Dean Morgan in it. He was a disgraced news reporter who finds out about this girl who was deaf her entire life and had been praying to Mary, and now she can hear. But the Mary she was praying to actually turned out to be like a bride of Satan witch that was nailed to and burnt from a tree. And she got all these people to start praising Mary because the witch's name was Mary, but they thought they were praising Mary, the mother of Jesus. And she's performing all of these miracles. And like, there's this whole history in this town. I was just watching it. It was all fucked up and it got kind of cheesy at the end. I'm pretty sure it was a remake. But it might have been The Possession.
I don't know. I'm going through your tweet thread thing.
Yes, The Unholy. That's what it was. That's what it was. The Unholy.
You watched that 6 days ago.
Yeah.
How do you know that?
He has a thread on Twitter.
Oh.
Yeah, so I started a thread on Twitter of all of the horror movies that I've been watching.
You in Pennsylvania?
Well, yes. But I have access to his movies.
You know, and the cameras that she put in my house when she visited Chicago.
I literally
that explains everything.
To your house. He literally has a thread on Twitter. Fuck you guys.
That explains it all.
No wonder I feel like I'm being watched.
Those movies I can't do. I can't watch those. Those are like, because like in the end, there's nothing you could do. You know what I'm saying? It's just gonna like, you know, there is like, it's just gonna come get you. You know, and kind of like Strangers is like, it's just because.
And also, anytime like you were talking about like the basement, right? Like the last house that I lived in, for whatever reason, anytime I went into the basement of that house, which is where the laundry was, I had an unsettling feeling while I was in the basement. I just did not feel comfortable in that basement. And I remember my dog, my not Ozzy that I have now, but the dog that I had with Ozzy a couple of years ago that passed away, Havoc, who moved into that house with me, did not really like going to that basement for the longest time. Really? And I remember him like standing at the top of the stairs and like barking into the basement, which also then fucking freaked me out because it's like, hey, I go down there and I don't feel comfortable. And then my dog is like, no, fuck that basement and won't go down there with me, which means that there's definitely something down there. Or something happened down there.
Right.
And it's these movies, these supernatural movies, these demonic religious movies that really bring those feelings forward, those unsettling feelings forward.
Oh yeah. If a dog barks in an dark area, it's like, yeah, I'm not going in there. It's like, have you ever seen all the movies? The dog is trying to tell you something, you know?
Yeah, animals know. Animals see ghosts.
Which the fact that my cat's so comfortable down here, and then Ozzy will come down here, like makes me feel safe in my
Good.
basement.
Good.
Yeah.
You good then?
Yeah. So.
But those are like that's on there too.
So we did Justin. So we're back to Katie. Got anything else on your list?
I don't know if this counts because it's a show, not a movie. Are You Afraid of the Dark used to scare the absolute shit out of me as a child.
Zeke the plumber.
Zeke.
It was the there was a few episodes that like I will not go back and watch, and if I do, I kind of just like sit back. I'm like, I don't know if I still want to watch this, even as a 26-year-old. It was the oh fuck. There was one where the girl got turned into a doll, and I didn't like that. In the one house, I should have like figured out the episodes beforehand. There was the blue jester looking thing.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
That one scared the shit out of me the most. Hands down. That thing gave me nightmares. When I have nightmares later tonight, I'm blaming all of you. Because I probably will.
The only one that stuck with me that I really remember is there was one with a cigar smoking clown, because again, at that point, I was fucking terrified of clowns.
Yeah.
Cigarette or cigar smoking. I don't remember exactly what he was smoking, but I remember he smoked a lot. And it was the 90s, so like you could smoke in a kid's TV show and no one gave a fuck.
Right.
100%.
Zeke the plumber was from Sleep
Yes. Allison, shout out Sleep Your Shorts. That was a show. Just to go back on just to kind of jump with the Are You Afraid of the Dark? The one of the shows that that really freaked me out was the there's an episode, I think it's called something Wizard. I think it's well anyway, it's a pinball like type of thing. The guy loves to play like pinball machines, right? So then like he then realizes that he
just froze.
So friends.
Here we go.
So him and his friends, I don't know if that was like some type of dynamic portal that just happened. But there's a pinball thing that happens to him in real life. So then he realizes he wins the game and blah, 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 and they can leave the mall. But then there's another pinball that shows up. So he really can't go anywhere. So the game keeps going and going, and he's just stuck there. And he has to play the game all over again. I thought that was kind of eerie.
The Tale of the Pinball Wizard?
Yes. I
just looked up the episodes.
Phantasm doesn't really freak me out. The movie with the old man and the death spheres and all that. Also, everyone froze. There we go.
Yeah, you froze that time. That was you.
Yeah, but I think for them, because I'm running the show, you guys all froze and I was good.
Also, just the way Afraid of the Dark would start. You know what I'm saying? A bunch of like, 14-year-olds on a Friday, Saturday night? Like, let's go out into the woods. Let's just throw on this fire with no adult.
Was like approval for the
Midnight Society.
Yeah. The Tale of...
Right.
You guys aren't... Katie, I don't think, is old enough to remember pre-9/11 America, where kids could go out and like do wild shit in the middle of the night and nobody. Matt is, like it was crazy. It was a wild world.
Oh yeah, I was born 84. I remember.
Oh, you're older than me, Juss.
Oh,
it freaks me out that Justin is older than everyone here because he does not feel older than everyone here.
No.
Oh no, I'm literally a 18-year-old stuck in this body.
I didn't realize I was almost 12 years older than Katie till just now.
You look good for your age, Juss. You look good for your age.
Thank you. A lot of exfoliating, moisturizer and smiling really helps.
I hate smiling.
Has anyone seen Smile yet? Well, we're
Oh,
talking
dude, no,
No.
not yet.
No, I want to.
I
Though.
want
want
to. Yeah, I
to.
want to see it so bad.
Yeah, I need to. I was gonna also say too, like on my list is because also like fun horror movies too. Drag Me to Hell.
Okay.
Drag Me to Hell with the old lady. You know what I'm saying? Like that is like feels like
More-
she's just done wrong by people.
More cursed shit
Yes.
freaking Justin out.
Yeah.
Now, I will say on the idea of curse shit freaking people out. Well, Drag Me to Hell's not on my list. Thinner by Stephen King, the
Ooh.
adaptation of that used to fucking freak me out with the cursed pie and all that, and thought his wife was cheating on him and all that whole thing. That a lot of Stephen, like I remember the Langoliers as a child as well. A lot of Stephen King adaptations really fucked with me as a kid.
Yeah,
The
Pet
little
Cemetery?
fucking like Pac-Man monster, dude. So again, with Pet Cemetery, I remember Pet Cemetery 2 from my childhood, not the original.
Oh, the
With
Edward
Furlong.
Yeah.
Yeah, fucking Terminator Kid, and then Gus, because I just watched that again the other day too.
Yeah.
The angry fucking cop, and the kid in the coonskin cap that gets his face sucked into the dirt bike wheel.
Yeah,
and
that seat still haunts me.
Zowie.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, dude. But you see the first one, right?
Oh yeah, I've seen the first one and the remake.
first
the remake
one
kind of sucked.
I gotta say this, like, I don't know if anyone else has kids. I know me and Matt do. But like the scene where like the kid is running almost like into the the road with the semi trucks like haunts me,
Mm-hmm.
and the fact that like they're just all like at a barbecue and then like, oh, where's such and such?
As a parent, anything with kids now freaks me, like, because even my daughter, like, she's very good. I'll be like, Zoe, hand, and she'll grab my hand,
Yeah,
and like she'll or my finger, and we'll walk around. But like anything with kids now didn't used to bother me, and then as soon as I became a parent, like all of it is just like, now I go to bed at night and I'm like freaking out about shit that is not even like normally possible because I have this child and I've seen all of this terrible shit like at Cemetery happen to these kids. We're like, oh, he's just chasing a ball and he went into the road, and like you always hear, hey, don't go in the road, this and that, and parents, and then as you're growing up, you're like, you ignore that shit until you've got one of your own, and it's like, no, stay the fuck out of the road. Like, what are you doing?
Right. Like Black Phone.
Yeah.
Like for now on, I'm walking. I'm like, there's no way Natalie's gonna be walking alone.
You said no.
Will, did you watch Halloween Ends without Allison? And you were
I
supposed
did.
to watch it with her?
I did. I watched it without Allison. We had plans to watch it together, and that didn't happen because I'm a bad friend.
Damn.
I'm sorry, Allison. On the record, I'm sorry.
Damn.
And now she's being super petty. I was like, look, we can watch it this weekend, and she's like, no, I don't want to watch it anymore.
My wife does the same shit to me. So I will sit down with Kate and I will show her all these trailers. I'm like, hey, do you seem interested in this and that, blah, blah, blah. And sometimes I will admit, sometimes I either think she's not into it by her reaction and she actually is, or there are times where I've shown her shit and then she doesn't remember that I showed it to her. And then I'm telling her I'm watching it and then she gets mad at me because I watched it without her. Like, we have this all of the time. So I have to make sure, like, before she goes to bed, I'm like, hey, I'm going to watch this movie. And she goes, what movie is that? I'm like, here, come watch the trailer real quick and make sure you're not interested before I watch it so I don't get yelled at, because I get yelled at all the time about watching shit without her. But I also have told her, like, there's like a 3-month waiting period where, like, if we haven't gotten to it together in 3 months, because I'm just going to watch it because I want to watch it and I have the free time and you can watch it when you get around to it, which she doesn't like, but it's kind of where we're at this point. On the note of movies, trucks, things like that, I think this whole show was created around the idea of Final fucking Destination, which is just terrifying scenario after, like, Final Destination 2 ruined logging trucks on highways for
oh my god,
pretty much
every
everybody
Yep.
ever.
Yep. Big yes.
But yeah, no, like if I am ever with, like, there's no escaping, because I again went and rewatched all the Final Destinations. Whether you're like with someone and like they start freaking out and it's like, all right, well, I know that we're gonna die, so I'm gonna get the fuck up. But then death still comes for you, and there's no like stopping it. Like they've tried skipping it, they've tried, killing someone else to, replace them and give death the soul, and it never stops. So like, it's like, do I just want to delay? Do I just kick the can down the road and find a new horrible, awful way to die, or do I want to die on this roller coaster now? And let these people get off. Like, how do I want to go about this? And that is terrifying. And all of like the coincidental things that have to happen for these deaths and everything. But specifically the logging truck terrified an entire generation. Now as an adult, in the first movie, the scene with the railroad tracks and them like not being able to get out of the car with the car stopped on the railroad track.
Yeah, yep.
And then, like, never, ladies and gentlemen, stop on railroad tracks for any reason whatsoever. You stop before the gates, because trains will fuck you up.
Because twins.
And then also you said logging trucks, right? Spaghetti on the ground also is another fear too. You're trying to come out from your little condo and then you slip on some spaghetti. The chute ladder comes and gets you, bust your eye. So also a fear. A fear. Airbags.
Are you afraid?
Also.
Wait, hold on. I need to know. Are you afraid of spaghetti on the ground? Because if you are, the next time I see you, I may just bring some spaghetti with me and randomly throw it on the ground to fuck with you.
Damn. My God.
Can you just imagine?
Well, it's a very specific fear.
Can you imagine someone saying that from a distance? Like just two friends just running and someone throwing spaghetti.
Or just seeing me like throw spaghetti in the ground and watching you freak the fuck out. What the fuck?
Matt keen over laughing his ass off.
It's like I'm not scared of it, but it's like I tend to like, wherever those ladders are at, I kind of like look to see like if there's something there for like a safe landing. Just like I can't remember. I think it's the prequel of Final Destination where the gymnastics chick, she's doing all her gymnastics routine on the beam, and then water is like on the mat, but it's like electrocuted. So if she lands on it, it's like fuck. Dude, what the hell?
I don't know why in my head I was thinking she was doing gymnastics on the beam and then there was spaghetti. Like on the balance beam.
Full circle. There's spaghetti in every movie somehow.
Oh, get you.
I may have to go rewatch every movie now to see if there is a spaghetti reference in every movie.
But the airbag though, the airbag.
Oh yeah,
that was crazy too. Yeah. It
was the second movie again. The chick crashes her car. The pole comes through the back of the headrest. She's okay.
Yeah.
And then they're trying to pry the door open with the jaws of life. And they hit the car a little too hard. The airbag goes off and knocks her head into the pole that missed the first time.
Yeah.
There are so many scenarios in there that are just fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
In every way, shape, or form. And then I like how as the movies came around, it was like death was like, these are the people that are alive now because the people in the first movie lived, or people in the first movie had to die because the people in the last movie lived. And we're coming full circle where like they got on the plane and this was how they were killing them. And then these people survived that plane and all of these things. Like it got really cool in there, the way they tied everything in and did all these little things. But yeah, also auto haulers driving over long bridges now, freaking the fuck out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was afraid of roller coasters for the longest time.
Now, did you guys see those movies in the theater? Final Destination.
I saw the first one in theaters. I think I was in high school when it came out.
I don't think I ever saw one in theater.
I saw the second one, and I thought the second one had like they kind of like amped it up with like the kills. From the first one, it was literally like watching SummerSlam in that theater. Like when the kills, when the kills, people are like, oh, logging truck.
Are you about to say the first one is older than Katie?
The first one came out in 2000, so almost.
Yeah. It was the height of Blink-182 at that time.
There's been 5 of them.
Yeah, the fifth one is where the end ties to the first movie.
Ah, yes.
Yep.
Yes.
I know my shit.
You can't you can't cheat death twice.
Will, what else do you have on your list?
Okay, I've got one from left field, and it's going to be scary for a unique reason. Okay, this is a
Okay.
Korean horror film called Train to Busan. It's a zombie film, and what makes it creepy is that when the zombie outbreak happens, they're on a train, so everybody's confined to these simple cars of a train. So they get in one, and they realize nobody's contaminated, but then they've got to get. You automatically see the troubles on how they progress through the movie, because one car will be full of zombies and the next one isn't. And then they start figuring out where the people are alive and when they're not. And it's just like the whole survival. But then the end of the movie is eventually this train full of zombies is going to reach Busan, which is a huge city in South Korea. And when this train hits, it's just going to be like the doors are going to open and these zombies are going to go running into the city.
Right.
But the whole movie is the survivors on the train trying to survive this zombie breakout on a train to Busan.
That's great. Yes, I've heard of this movie. I haven't watched it, but it's definitely on my watch list. Is it? Where'd you see it at? Is it?
I think you can see it. It's on Amazon, I believe. There's another Korean zombie movie called #Alive that's along the same lines.
See that? Yep, that's also great.
But it's a guy stranded in his apartment building, and he realizes that there's a woman living in the 5th floor across the way from him. So they're communicating with like drones and stuff to try to figure out how to save each other.
Yes.
Both of those are creepy zombie movies for very different reasons. The isolation in Alive, and then the claustrophobia of being in a train with zombies for Train to Busan. Two totally different like reasons to be scared of a movie.
So did COVID amp that up in any way, shape, or form? Because like, A, could you imagine finding out about COVID while you're on a train with a bunch of fucking people? Like the news just breaks that COVID's a thing and you're just trapped on this train heading somewhere and you can't get off and now you don't know what the fuck's going on. Or A, then like you said with Alive, the isolation of we were all isolated. We were all supposed to stay home, not supposed to go out, this and that. People are dying, trying to figure shit out. All in quarantine. So
there was a sequel made in 2020 that's apparently has something to do with COVID. So
really,
yeah,
I've been waiting for COVID horror movies to come out. Like you knew it had to happen.
There's one, I forgot the name of it, where like it's on Hulu. I forgot the name of it, but it's like it starts like this. The movie actually starts like on a Zoom call.
You're talking about Host.
Yes, that's the one.
Yeah, that was they do a seance, and then everybody gets cursed by the demon they're trying to do in the seance in different ways through Zoom.
Through Zoom,
cool
movie.
It's only like a 35-minute short film too. Like it's super short.
Yeah.
So that brings me to another discussion topic. I am not allowed to have a Ouija board in my house. My wife will not allow it.
Good.
Because that whole idea of any kind of communication with the dead or spirits or anything and inviting them into the home freaks her the fuck out. Like I have joked, I'm like, it's made by Milton Bradley. Like how bad could it really be? And she's like, I don't give a fuck if it's mass produced or not. There will not be one in our house. I kind of want to get one just to like leave in the house for when we move. So someone finds a Ouija board in the house. Oh, you know what I did do? So we fixed our stairs, right? I had to fix one of the planks on my stairs. And what we did was we had to take it off. So I had a Living Dead doll Annabelle and I took it and I put it in the stairs and then closed the stairs back up. So if anyone buys this house after we move out and goes to remodel it, they're going to tear those stairs open and there's going to be a little Annabelle doll with a Miss Me sign in the stairs. That's just amazing. To fuck with the next people.
You're terrible.
You know what's gonna be great though? It's like, oh, you'll never see their reaction. That's the problem. You know, but just knowing that someday someone will find it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But so that whole Ouija board thing freaks her out, and along with that, like I said, we talked about spirits and everything. There's a movie called Lights Out, and in this movie, there's a mom who has a friend who is a ghost from her childhood that talks to her. I used to fuck with Kate because I was fucked with as a child and thought that my mom thought it was funny, and I inherited that. I would stand at our stairwell and just have random conversations with the girl from the movie while Kate was in the living room, and she would start screaming, like she would get pissed, and I thought it was fucking hilarious.
Disrespectful.
Kind of playing off of the whole Asian thing. Thank you, Will.
Anything for you, Bubba. I got
Hey.
you.
Another one. It's on Netflix. It's not really a movie, but it is a show. It goes to the same thing with zombies. All of Us Are Dead is a zombie movie too that takes place in Korea as well, and it's like they're all stuck in a high school. So kind of like the train thing, they all have to survive in high school, right? And the best thing about like when they do horror movies is when they add humor, right? And this is not spoiling the movie in any way, but like there's a scene there where they know they can't leave the high school, right? Because the zombies are everywhere, but they have to use the bathroom, and one of the guys has to take a shit, right? So they can't go to the bathroom in the hallway because there's zombies there. So the one guy has this brilliant idea of taking a shit by standing outside the window, and then the whole dialogue between each other, like, how are you gonna do that? How are you gonna wipe your ass? How are you gonna hold on to the thing? He's like, well, you have to hold my hand, and then my other hand wipes my ass. And he's like, I don't want to hold your hand. He's like, okay. Then attach a rope, and then somebody has to wipe my ass, and like, who's gonna do that? And like, just that whole dialogue was hilarious.
Is Vince still in the chat?
Probably
I have no
not.
idea if Vince is still in the chat.
Okay.
Why?
I was going to ask him if he would hold my hand while I shit out of a window. I need to know.
He probably would.
But yeah, and like, it's great. I advise everyone to check it out. It's cool. It's cool.
Benji's just booking himself for future episodes that may or may not happen now at this point. He's like,
They're never
zombie
gonna
ones
happen.
I want to be on. South Korean horror I want to be on.
No.
Oh, I got you. Don't worry, I got you. Also speaking on the Asian tip too, Jawan or The Grudge. They're like that's another crazy one if you've seen that, the Sarah Michelle Gellar one.
The Grudge and The Ring, because
yes,
the
Ring too,
Ringu,
yep.
But the video being that whole thing, that movie freaked me more so The Ring than The Grudge. Really fucking freaked me out. Like, you watch this, then the phone rings, you get a call, and girl coming out of the fucking TV and shit, and like you can't escape it, and you try and unplug shit, and there's water all over your house, and water damage is fucking terrifying, let me tell you. Like,
see, but every time I think about that, I just think of Scary Movie.
Yeah, you talk about The
Like,
Ring?
Cindy, the TV's leaking. All I think about.
And they're fighting. They're fighting. The fight scene.
It's one of the best fucking scenes in any of the Scary Movies. Brenda's the best character in that whole franchise.
She is. But there's a scene in The Grudge where she's taking a shower and she's scared, like there's a scene where she like feels something and it's like literally like the demon like coming out of her hair.
That's terrifying.
That's terrifying. I mean, some of my friends and Shar has said that like that scared them taking a shower. And for me, it didn't really scare me too much because I don't have hair, so I wouldn't really have that problem,
It just comes out of your head.
Right. It's just there. But there's also another scene too, spoilers, where like she feels something in the blanket. And then there's like a slow look underneath the blanket. And you just see a child's face just like
No.
they did that in Annabelle Comes Home too, where like she feels something and she looks under it, and Annabelle's just like chilling in the covers with her, and then she throws her across the room, and the lamp falls down, and the lamp's like changing colors, and as you see a shadow on the wall, and it goes from like the doll to the little girl to the adult to the fucking horn demon. Like, on the note of Scary Movie and all of this stuff, back to my fear of clowns. Poltergeist also played into that, because in Poltergeist they have the scene with the little boy and the clown under the bed, but also Scary Movie where the clown's under the bed and then he pulls him under, and then the clown's trying to escape because he's gonna fuck him, and then his dick comes out and wraps around the clown's neck and pulls him under. But like, so another thing that my mom did, she had this clown called Jingles. It was this stuffed clown, and it had bells on the toes. And she used to put it in a rocking chair in my bedroom. And every night I would get up and I would take the thing, because like our house that we lived in was old. So I lived upstairs. It was drafty up there. And fucking the chair would rock at night. And I hear it would freak me out. So I take it and I throw it in the closet. Wake up the next day, I go to school, I come back, and the fucking thing is back in the chair. My mom went and got out of the closet and put it back in the fucking chair.
Wow.
Fucking clowns, man.
Fucking clowns, dude. Your mom is goat, man.
She denies all of
for
this too. Like
pranks?
she
For
acts like she
pranks?
doesn't remember she did
Holy
any of this.
shit.
She's like, I never did that. I would never do that. I'm like, you are a liar because I remember it, and I didn't just imagine this shit was happening in the house. Like,
Oh my
That's funny.
gosh, dude. Your
She
mom
said,
is like
"Nope, wasn't me."
queen of
Also,
pranks,
can someone tell Benji that I know what a fucking VHS tape is?
I think.
Hey, Benji,
Tell
he
Benji
knows
that
what a
you know what a
VHS tape is.
Like,
It's fine, bud. We got this.
I don't
We
know
think-
why he thinks I don't know what that is.
Have you ever seen one?
I own some.
Okay.
That's
I
not a
literally
bad
said in the
question.
beginning that I
Yeah.
had Blair Witch on VHS.
Oh, you do?
She did.
Oh,
Did anyone listen to me?
I did.
Thanks, Matt.
I listened
I
to
was,
all of you guys.
Orale.
get
Nothing.
well, VHS, the horror movie. Do you guys like that? Have you guys seen it? VHS, the horror movie.
Yes.
I think I've seen, I don't think I've seen the full thing. I think I've seen part of it.
That's
Um,
when you start getting into like the iceberg of horror movies when you see the stuff and then you start getting like deeper down on it. Like VHS is one of those movies, the deeper down you get, it's kind of like the Poughkeepsie tapes where it just gets weird. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
So, anthology horror films like VHS or ABCs of Death don't really do it for me because of exactly what Will said. Like, as you go, they have to differentiate everything. Like, there's so many stories and they can't be the same. So then you just start getting into really weird shit.
Yeah.
I thought of one.
All right. I was going to let Will go because I feel like it's been a while since Will's had to go.
Will can
And I
go,
know he's
and
got a
then
whole notebook there.
I thought of
Oh yeah.
one
Go for it.
as you were
Go
talking
for it.
about
Go
that.
for it.
What do you got, Will?
Hell House LLC.
Yes.
Okay.
Not
it's
the one
a-
I was thinking of, but fuck yes.
It's 3 movies: the Hell House LLC, the Abaddon Hotel, and then Lake of Fire. And they progressively get more and more shitty as the series
true.
goes.
And they're making the
But
fourth
the
one.
first one was fucking amazing. It's another found footage. It's this haunted hotel. They're doing a haunted experience inside of it. But as they build the haunt, like they realize how genuinely effed up the hotel is. And you see a lot of it on like TikTok and stuff where they're like, look at this spooky clown. And then all of a sudden, like his head will move a little bit or something. And
Yep.
that's where all of that stuff originates from, is from this movie. And then it gets to the end, and the very end of it, I don't want to spoil it because it's worth watching. You're like, holy shit. And then the Abaddon Hotel, they expand on it a little more. And then by the time you get to Lake of Fire, you're like, this is a hot piece of
You're like,
garbage.
why did they set the garbage on fire? Like, whatever.
Bingo. But Hell House has a lot of good organic jump scares with the feel of The Shining mixed with Blair Witch Project mixed with Final Destination. Like, because it's like young kids building the haunt, dealing with a haunted hotel. Yeah, it's trippy. One of them starts to lose their mind, and you kind of see the evolution of them losing their mind throughout the entire first movie. Phenomenal. Hell House LLC, worth the watch.
I shit you not, first time I watched it, it was like the same thing with Paranormal Activity. I was like, there's no way this isn't real. Like that was one that seemed genuinely real to me. Like the way it was shot, like all of the people in it, because they're just like actors you don't see in things, and it was crazy how good that first movie was. Second one, not bad. Third one, absolutely terrible. And they're making another one.
I don't know if I've seen the second or third one. I'm pretty sure I've seen the first one, but in general, because this is about paranormal investigation, right? Where like you're watching someone do kind of like a paranormal investigation, but then shit actually happens in the movie.
Yeah, I mean, they're like Will said, they're like setting up this haunted attraction in this hotel that they bought.
Maybe I didn't see this because there's one I'm thinking of, and it's like a movie about paranormal investigators who are actually going out, but then like they shoot it like you're actually watching the paranormal investigative footage.
That's the second one. That's the Abaddon Hotel, is because they send a paranormal investigator to the site of the first movie, and it's like a documentary explaining what happened in Hell House LLC.
Because they bring
Oh,
back the dude
yeah.
from the first one.
Bingo.
That might
It's
be
all
what-
done from the perspective of like a
But there is
documentary.
another set of movies that are like that. I can't remember what they're called, but there's another set of movies that are like what he's describing.
Paranormal
Yeah.
investigation? Like paranormal
Where
investigation?
so it's a movie where it's like you're watching a paranormal investigative show, but then and everything's shot like you're watching the show where like they go in and they do all like the shit, but then actual fucked up shit really starts happening. It's not like watching the show and then like, oh, a cabinet door opened, or like scary fucking shit actually starts happening and all of the cast members start getting killed in the prison or wherever the fuck they were. Which is what you kind of want to see in the actual shows and never happens.
God, I feel like I know what it is because you said prison and that like something in here
Yeah.
clicked. Fuck, I can't
So,
think of what it is.
I
now,
don't
and it's
think
gonna
I've
bother
actually
me.
seen Hell House LLC then, and if
You
that's the case, I'm gonna
really
have
need
to find
to.
it. Yes.
What was the name of the second
Amazon
one?
Video, I think.
Wasn't
The
even
second one is Abaddon Hotel. It's Hell House LLC, the Abaddon
Okay.
Hotel.
Abaddon
I will,
Hotel. So
look
basically,
for
like
that
there's like
tonight.
so like the
I
haunt.
get
It's like a
off.
haunting in the hotel, right? Basically.
The first one is them building the haunt inside the haunted hotel. The second one is a paranormal group investigating what happened in the first movie. And then the third one is the piece that ties it all together.
You know what that sounds like? And I'm not trying to make fun of this, but that sounds like a very serious Ghostbusters movie.
It kind of is. Kind of.
Right? The hotel, the paranormal group has to go in there. I mean,
Honestly, kind of.
If you put them all together, it would be a Ghostbusters movie. Now that you say that,
It would. Yeah.
well played, Juss. Well played.
Also, I'll get real quick because you guys talked about host because we give Reek shit about it all the time, but fucking Unfriended, where again they're all in a fucking Zoom call and then the cameras start fucking up and the people like start mutilating themselves because of the ghost of the girl that they picked on and all this fucked up shit. And then we give Reek shit because I'm like, Reek, who'd you piss off? Because you're getting unfriended right now. Like, I better not start getting DMs in the fucking chat from some random chick that died in my high school.
Well, I mean, he said he needed to update it, and then he updated it, but then he was still having issues in their episode they dropped today. So I don't know what the fuck is going on.
You might need to redo it inside the mind of with Wreak Havoc and find out what the fuck he did in high school to cause Unfriended to be happening. And
you know what? Benji just said something pretty smart in the chat. He said
Impossible.
2045. Gonna be, there's gonna be horror find footage, but with TikTok. I think that's gonna be hilarious.
people finding deleted TikToks. Yeah.
I hope to God in 2045 somebody doesn't find my hard drive.
Okay.
What else you got, Will?
Oh no, I was gonna go back to Katie because Katie had that
Oh.
idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
I am hosting the show. Justin.
I was like, isn't this
Yeah,
Matt
Justin
show?
really just it's like when Vince tries to take over SmackDown Raw. Justin's just
Yeah.
trying to take over getting off. Like, guys,
Yeah.
this is your show.
repeatedly happening to me from people.
Multiple shows. I'm so sorry this
Yeah.
happens to you. It's a series of movies. I can't remember how many there are. I think there might be five or six. They're called The Blackwell Ghost.
Okay.
Oh.
They're on Amazon Prime, I think. They progressively get scarier. I think it's like the third or fourth one. I was watching it at my friend's house, and like, because we didn't know what to watch, and we like watching horror movies and creepy things, and like I watched Hell House LLC with her, so we tried to find something similar to that, and it was this guy who I can't even really remember the premise of the first one. He finds this like old house and he like investigates it and, you know, creepy things, and he's filming it all. It's very much like found footage kind of stuff. But as he like progresses through these places, it's like starts at a house and then he finds out that there's like this place in Florida that's like a different house, and that there's like a serial killer thing involved in the later movies with that house. But the Florida house is where shit really fucking pops off, and it genuinely scares me because like there's like pounding on the walls that's like super aggressive. Like it's the first night he gets there, like during the day, shit's popping off, and I don't like that. I don't like when things are happening during the day because I'm like, no, I like being safe during the day. I don't like this. What?
So my wife and I had this conversation today as we were driving to my sister's house to go trick-or-treating. I am curious, and I want to hear everyone's thoughts on this. So, like, we've been told Halloween is this holiday where the veil between the living and the dead is the thinnest, and like you hear of like the witching hour being 3 a.m. or the devil's hour or whatever. How do ghosts know? Because like I feel like, okay, Halloween for us is not like the same thing in fucking Australia. So like October 31st for them is a different day than it is for us. So does it like, is it different around the world? And also like 3 a.m. for you, if weird shit's happening for you, like, do they travel time zones for me for it to happen? Like,
No,
I've always
all
been
ghosts
curious.
work on Central Time.
Oh,
That's
I'll
not
go
true. No, I'll go for Eastern time, actually. Crazy.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, you always get told that, but it's like, okay, but like 3 a.m. in fucking Illinois is not 3 a.m. in Pennsylvania. So, like, how do ghosts know fucking time zones?
I think it's probably more so just like where you are and the ghosts that are near you. Like, that's so, like, ghosts in PA aren't going to be time traveling basically to fuck with you guys in Illinois. Like, I like to I don't think that. I think it's just more so just like location wise where you are, I guess.
Yeah, but again, like, how do
Okay,
you know
okay.
what time it is? Like,
I
if
don't
it's
know.
supposed to be a specific hour, I feel like it should be 1 hour everywhere around the world, universal, and it shouldn't just be like it's 3 a.m. It's like it's this specific time in all of these different regions around the world.
But what about
You
the
know?
people where it's like 2:00 in the afternoon and they're like,
Yeah,
well, shit, it's
overseas.
middle of the day trying to work. And then all of a sudden, Ted the ghost starts throwing shit around their house in the middle of their work
Exactly.
day.
That's
Like,
what I'm saying.
Okay. I'm just making sure I'm on the same page with you. Like, I'm down for that. Absolutely. We
It's
should
just weird to me
unionize
that
the
they're like,
ghost.
it's just weird to me that they're like, it's 3 a.m. and it's like, yeah, but at 3 a.m. where?
Somewhere.
Ghost
Ghost
unions.
time? Yeah.
I think
3 a.m.
there's a-
somewhere.
Uh-huh.
I think they operate in a certain way. I think how they operate is through Ghost Recon.
Anyway,
So, anyways, the
do we
Blackwell
all
ghost.
believe in ghosts?
Yes,
Yes.
100%.
Yeah.
Ghost Recon.
Justin, do you believe in ghosts?
Yes.
Okay. So Blackwell ghost.
Highly recommend the movies. I think each one's maybe like 90 minutes, give or take.
Oh, that's not bad.
No, they're very good. And like I said, like, I got invested in the story. I've been waiting for another one. It's another one where I like legit thought all this shit was real. It's not. I'm a little disappointed. But the way that this guy was like making them, because it's just one dude, and it's like him, and it shows like how his wife feels about everything, and she's with him in the first movie. Like, they go together to the house, and then she's just like, you're obsessed. It just like, that's a whole nother like part of the story. Very good movies. I highly recommend. And then let me know how you like them, if you like them, or I have terrible taste in movies.
Okay. Benji, but that's my point, is like, is the spiritual energy strongest depending on like different times, depending on the time zone? Like, does it,
I think
how does spiritual energy build and then move across the world is my question. Because like, again, Halloween is supposed to be when the veil is thinnest, but like, it was Halloween for Australia like 2 days ago. It is no longer Halloween here in Illinois. It hasn't been Halloween in Pennsylvania for like 2 hours. So like,
Yeah.
am I like ghost good now? Like, the veil is sealed up here, but is TC still fucked? Like, I need to know.
Well, it's well,
Is there like a veil that moves across the world? Like, I'm very interested in how all of this works and how the ghost veil follows time zones. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean,
they
if
s-
that's the case, TC still fucked for like 2 hours.
Yeah.
Do ghosts spring forward and fall back?
God
That is
damn
also
it.
a very good question.
You know what I mean?
Ooh.
Like,
What
what about daylight savings time here? We've got to
not
figure
right.
this out. Somebody needs to unionize the ghosts.
I
Um,
get Benji out of the shed right now.
We need to do an episode of spiritual energy. I want to be on.
So, last one for me scared me as a kid, and the only reason I say this for last is because it's weird that it scared me as a kid, but not as an adult. Is Children of the Corn. Now, first off, again, my grandmother had this cottage in fucking Indiana. It was Bass Lake, Indiana, and the majority of the ride was through cornfields. And then also she lived in a part of Illinois that we would like drive past cornfields to get to her house before it got all developed. So like every time I was with my dad's mom, I was like, oh, fucking cornfields, and you watch Children of the Corn. But like you were safe as a child. Like I don't know what like I guess I was afraid like they were gonna come kill my parents and then I'd have to join them. Like I don't but like you didn't as a kid, you didn't have to worry about them killing you. They only killed adults. Like you didn't have to worry until you turned 18. Then after I turned 18, I was like, oh, I punch a fucking kid in the face. Like, fuck you, Malachi. I got this. Like, I don't give a fuck what you come at me with your fucking sickle. I don't care. Like, I've got a kid. Like, it's cool. Like, I can take a child.
Yeah.
I can take a group of children.
It's weird. So like no, I've never read Lost in Cornfield. The movie never really like scared me, or I don't really have like really strong memories of the movie. But like me and all my cousins, like my aunts and like my mom, they would all call us Children of the Corn. I'm like, now that I'm an adult, I'm like, what the fuck?
Right.
We still get called that. And we're all in our 20s. I'm like, now this isn't fair. I didn't do anything wrong.
You ever murder an adult as a child that you know about?
No, not to my knowledge.
Were you
That
extremely
you
religious?
know about?
Oh no, religion ain't in this, not in this house.
You didn't like join a cult where you worship the man behind the rose? He who walks behind the rose.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Go ahead, Juss.
Okay, I was just gonna tag in with what you're saying. What about Village of the Dam? Is that kind of like the same thing as Children of the Corn?
Well, yes and no. Like that was like a bunch of kids were born. So like in Children of the Corn, it was kind of like a religion that you were indoctrinated into, whereas like Village of the Dam was like a group of alien children that were born and had fucked up psychic powers and all looked the same and kind of sort of became incestful since they're all like one specific species of child and then they all like paired up at like child age and so on and so forth. And so kind of, yeah, but no. My grandfather one time, well, my grandmother's husband, not necessarily my grandfather, we were driving to Bass Lake, pretended that the car died and pulled into a cemetery and pretended that the car died in the cemetery around Halloween.
Nope.
Freaked us the fuck out. My cousin was
No
like
way.
on the ceiling of the back of the station wagon, like freaking out, and they were like trying to calm him down while laughing. Just absolutely terrified, traumatized her. We're all screaming. And there's a cornfield like across from the cemetery, and then my grandma's like, "Oh, I thought I saw something in the cornfield." And we're like, "No!"
Oh hell! Oh,
Freaking the fuck out. So yeah, there was that.
That just like reminds me of. That just reminds me of like being a kid. Every time we would like, my aunt would have Halloween parties when we were younger, or we would all like all the cousins would go up to my aunt and uncle's cabin. My uncle would tell us the craziest ghost stories, and I was just talking to my cousin about some of them the other day. He would genuinely like scare the absolute shit out of all of us. Mind you, we're all like younger than 10. You know, didn't have to do that. But there was some of the stories like seemed too real, like the house behind like their cabin was an old man lived there, and then 2 kids went missing trying to help him move stuff. And I was like, why are you telling me this? There was a
Right.
man who was apparently in the bottom of the lake, and he was like the chief of some tribe. I can't remember that story, but like the stories were very detailed and very creepy, and I want to get him to tell me all of them because I want to turn them into little storybooks.
Oh,
That'd be dope.
Like
Katie
Scary
King.
Stories to Tell in the Dark.
Katie King. Okay.
With me.
So that reminded me of something real quick. The only movie that like still like freaks me out today, and it's not the movie itself, but it's the premise of the movie. Anything, it would be Jaws, but anything with fucking sharks. I will not go in the ocean. I've had this. I'm like, I will take you to the ocean. I will sit on the beach and I will watch you go into the water. Because sharks attack in shallow water, so it's not like, oh, I can just go out there and chill. Like, no, sharks freak me the fuck out as a child. Like, you'd be in a fucking pool and you'd be scared, and it's like, obviously there's nothing in there, like a fucking pool. Where the fuck are you gonna get sharks from? But like any body of water, like you get into a lake, same thing. Like it's murky down there and I can't see what the fuck's down there. But yeah, no, sharks fucking terrify me, and the idea of being eaten or attacked by a shark terrifies me. And I like torture my own self and watch all of these fucking shark movies, like 47 Meters Down and all that shit.
I can't watch a movie ever again.
And I love watching them because they freak me out. But I to this day, I'm like, listen, I will take you to the ocean. I will watch you in the ocean. I am not getting in the ocean. And if something bites you, you are just going to die. I'm not coming to save you because I told you not to go in the water and you made that choice anyway. That's on you. I love you and I will miss you. I will mourn you, but I'm not coming for you.
God. Wow.
Have you seen the movie The Shallows?
Yes.
Yeah,
No.
dude, that's crazy. That's crazy.
I don't do shark movies. I was forced to watch 47 Meters Down, and I had a panic attack. So I was like, I can't do this.
Getting the bends would be the worst way to die imaginable. Like
Dude.
your blood boiling from the inside out because you came up to get breath too quickly, and then you're just dead.
Fear. Genuine fear.
40 meters, 47's down. That's the one with Sylvester Stallone's daughter, right?
I don't think so.
I can't remember.
That's the one where like they like a family, right? Where one of the family, like the dad, is looking at sights. Like
no, 47 Meters
No.
Down is sisters.
Yeah, they go on a fluke like diving adventure, and then the cage breaks and they get lost.
I think the one you're talking about is
Yeah,
47
that's the-
Meters Down Uncaged.
yes.
The
That's
second
the
one.
second one.
The second one.
Oh, I didn't know they were.
There's the
Okay.
first one where they get into a shark cage and then the fucking boat breaks and the cage drops to the bottom. And there are just 2 girls in there trapped in a fucking shark cage, and they chummed the water, which they weren't supposed to do. And now all of the sharks are like surrounding them, and one girl starts losing her mind and thinking shit's happening that's
Right.
not actually happening, and trying to get out of the cage and survive, and then talking to people. Yeah,
Right.
it's crazy.
Oh, have you seen Uncaged? That's pretty wild too.
Yes.
That's
We're,
pretty wild.
looking at the ruins and shit. And,
Yeah.
Will, what else you got?
The last one on my list is a really weird movie called Antrim. It was labeled as the deadliest movie of all time, and it's been banned in a few countries because the way it was shot with the directors, they did things to imitate motion sickness and stuff. So when you watch the movie, it's shot to make you nauseous and uneasy. Like the way the camera moves, the way the camera shakes. It's not necessarily found footage, but it kind of is. It has to deal with a brother and sister who are digging a pit to hell to help their dead dog, ultimately, is the gist of the movie. And the deeper they get towards hell, the crazier things start happening out in the real world.
So what you're telling me is it was shot by Kevin Dunn.
Sort of, yeah. Pretty much. Pretty much.
Stop talking to Chucky.
He said it. I just anyway. No, that actually sounds very interesting. I'm trying to think of any, because I have not seen that, but I'm trying to think of any movies that just like the way it was shot fucked with me.
That's available. You can watch it on Amazon if you have an Amazon Prime account. And it talks about it. You can watch the preview for it, and they talk about like in theaters, people getting sick, and then one theater caught on fire where they were filming the movie or while they were showing the movie, and people like died during the premiere and stuff. Like, look it up. It's a legit thing. Wow. It's called Antrim. Yeah.
I just looked it up. They got 75% on Rotten Tomatoes, so that movie must be pretty good.
Interesting. Pretty good. Speaking of Amazon Prime, if you do have an Amazon Prime account, you can subscribe to our Twitch or any of your favorite Twitch streamers' Twitches, like Will Gray or Miss Katie Kinsey Bay when they go live. Once she gets her status, so you should first go follow her and help her get there, and then B, when she does, use that because it's a free subscription. So you don't have to pay any money. You get one free subscription a month. You can give it to one of your favorite podcast streamers, whether it's Smacked Raw and Botch Spots and Chair Shots or Smacking It Raw. And then Amazon doesn't keep that money, and we would really appreciate it. And we've got some dope emotes that you can go check out that Benji used in the chat earlier. So please, if you have that Prime subscription, throw it our way or throw it one of your favorite Twitch streamers' ways. We would appreciate it. Juss or Katie, do you guys have anything else on your list?
I have one. Well, I have a couple still. I'll just go through it real quick.
He said, I have one. Just kidding, I have a few.
The Visit, M. Night Shyamalan. Have you seen that?
Okay. Yeah.
That is great. I love that movie. It's like a totally misdirection play. What's up?
But does it scare you? I mean, these are horror movies that scared us. Are you afraid of The Visit? Like, are you afraid you're going to go see your grandparents and then it's not going to be your grandparents? Spoilers. And they're going to be fucking crazy. And like, there's going to be a naked woman running around the house at night. And like, you're going to get a diaper shoved in your face. Like,
that's exactly what I was going to say. The diaper and the fact that if somebody asked me to clean an old ass oven, those two things scare me.
So like, Hansel and Gretel freaks you out.
Oh yeah. Remember the scene where he's like, it really smells, and he's going to the barn, and the grandfather just literally like taking off his diaper? That would scare me. Spoilers.
I just want to clip the last 30 seconds of what he said without any like context.
Any context.
None.
What other movies on your list scared you, Justin?
So you talked about what other movies with like just shots at different angles, right? The movie Nope.
I still have not watched that because So here's the deal. I was like all about checking this out because Logan Paul shit on it, and I was like, anything Logan Paul doesn't like, I'm gonna fucking love. And then TC's like, no, actually Logan Paul was right, and like I trust TC. So then I was like, shit. If TC says it's shit, maybe I'll just wait for it to come to streaming. I'm not gonna waste my money renting it or going to see it. So it's not that I've seen on streaming yet. Or if it is, I haven't noticed, so I have not checked it out yet.
I don't think it's like, I know it's like it's a 50-50 thing with the movie, but I think it's good. I think it's good. I mean, based on all the crazy movies that we all talked about, like I think it definitely fits in there.
Okay. Yeah. Anything else?
So say yes to Nope.
Because Nope is about aliens, right?
Well, I don't know.
Aliens.
Yeah, damn, spoilers. Yeah.
I said the trailer.
It is in the trailer.
Yeah, it's true. It is in the trailer. Midsummer. Does that count as a horror movie?
Yeah, it counts as a horror movie. It's elevated horror, but yeah.
Oh god, I hate that term. No, but yeah. That you know what scares me in that movie is the fact that you're just trying to go hang out with some friends in a different country and you fucking trip out on some whatever angel dust to find out that you're gonna be like married into a cult, and then people are gonna watch you have sex with like a person while they're singing and making the same noises as the woman. That scares me.
I don't know. I'm okay with people watching me have sex. Like, if you want,
I was about to say nothing. There's not very much of what you just said that freaked me out too much. Where's the scary part?
Get high and
I was going to say I did lots of LSD and had lots of sex in my 20s, man. Like none of that sounds unusual.
But then also having to like take like a bunch of other drugs and then being like basically wearing a real life bear as a costume also is scary.
Once
Like,
again, I reiterate, Jess, what's weird about any of this?
Feels like I did this last week. I don't understand.
but yeah, that's it.
Benji says, shout out to Angel's Dust.
Right.
So, if you guys have any horror movies that freaked you guys out that we didn't talk about, feel free to comment on this video or hit us up. We're going to plug all of our socials and everything. Let us know, or just come talk to us about some of the movies we talked about and let us know what you thought, as long as it's positive and constructive. If you're going to be a dick about it, then just keep it to yourself. Will, outside of Pornhub, where they can find the videos of you on LSD having sex, where else can they find you and watch you?
Well, you can find me. I am the Will Graham, the host of Botch Bots and Share Shots. You can find us anywhere you do anything on the internet. Also follow my co-host extraordinaire. She is the Beyonce to my Hova, the Bonnie to my Clyde, Just a Girl 918, the Boss Bitch, Miss Allison Siegel. Pretty much anywhere, really. Facebook, Instagram, iHeartRadio, Google, Twitter. You have all the options.
Yes, you do. Justin, nope. Katie. Get it? Because he said nope. Yeah. Katie, where can they find you and your shows and the thing that you dropped today?
Of course, you can follow me on Twitter at KTheRassin13. The link tree I'm about to take you all things She-Lead Showcase. That's the show I host. Twitch.tv/She-Lead Showcase, typically Thursday, 6 p.m.-ish Eastern. YouTube.com/She-Lead Showcase. I say watch the videos because they're way more entertaining. Anchor, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, if you'd like to listen. Like I said, She-Lead is the brand. It's also the weekly show me and my co-host do. Inside the Mind of, an interview series I do. Dropped one today because, it's Halloween with The Rack. And if you don't know who that is, boy, oh boy, are you in for a treat. It basically became Inside the Mind of Katie Kinsey Part 2. Do I regret saying anything? Yeah, a little bit. Is it on the internet forever? Yeah, it is. It happened. It's a thing. I don't know how to stop talking. That's why all that's on the internet. And then I'm on Smackin' Raw every week because I'm going to win Pornhub Bobby because I am the true Pornhub Bobby.
Team Vince.
Team Katie.
Justin, is the Get Show podcast still a thing, or we just checking you out on Marks with Mike's?
Get Your Podcast is still a thing. I took. Yeah, and Lechon Diaries, but like. No, it's gonna be a thing again. I did put a tweet out saying that we're gonna be back in November. We're gonna be back in November just because my work schedule was tied up. But so you can find me on Get Your Podcast on Twitter, Get Your Podcast Instagram. I'm also on Marks and Mikes. We dropped an episode yesterday, just kind of recapping the wrestling week. Kind of did a little preview of Crown Giselles. Get Your Podcast will be recording. In November. I'm gonna be definitely looking out to some of y'all as featured guests. So look for that. Look for my face in your DMs. But yeah. So other than that, we good.
And as always, you can follow me at Matt Ritters, ZMHCTRDDR on Twitter only. Also, Getting Off Pod, which you are now watching. You can follow on Twitter at Getting Off on Twitter only. It is the #1 horror movie podcast on Pornhub. Smackin' Raw is the #1 wrestling podcast on Pornhub. That, as Katie said, drops every Friday, just a little after 11 p.m. Central Time, because Central Time is the best time. We are all, again, under the banner of Creation World, which I plugged at the beginning of the show. We also have Facebook, facebook.com/groups/SmackinItRaw. You can check us out there. Also, go check out my host or co-host, Vince, at SES Vince. He does Straight Talk and some other things. You can follow him on Twitter and Instagram at SES Vince. For the Will Gray, Miss Katie Kinsey Bebe, and MF Doom, Justin from the Get Show podcast. I am the patron saint of podcasting, the word Matt Ritter, and this has been Getting Offed.
Woo! Happy Halloween!
really got to get that whole banner thing down. Get rid of the banner before I run shit, but you know, it is what it is.
What the fuck just happened? Team Katie. Woo-hoo.
That was fun. Thank you guys.
That was a lot of
You're
fun.
welcome.
That was
Talked
good.
about a lot of different
I
shit.
didn't even know. Was it like 2 hours? Was it like 2
Just
hours?
under. Just under.
It didn't feel that way, to be honest.
No, it didn't. I was watching the time up there, and I think we started about 7 minutes in ish. So
Something like that.
Yeah.
though Smacking
Yeah,
and
that
Raw
was
went like
good.
2 hours
That was
and
good.
20 minutes, and I did not think it went that long. So I was like, fuck. How does that keep
What?
happening?
This
From
past
last
week?
week?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
Oh, was it?
yeah.
Well, I mean, you got like 5.
This-
You have 5, right? You have 5 people?
We had 5. And we talked a lot about the PWI Women's 150.
Yeah, I was going to say that
I
was
also
like the
had
bulk
very
of the-
scuffed internet.
Yeah. Well, Justin always has scuffed internet, so
So, like, in the beginning, I was connected to the hotel Wi-Fi, and then for the rest of the show, I was connected to the hotspot on my phone, and I had no issues.
Hmm.
So, shout out to
Interesting.
iPhone
Interesting.
13.
Interesting.
with 2 hours in our time, 1 hour in spirit time.
I fucking hate that shit.
Benji, I definitely will get you on.
I think I did hear
so-
something.
Go ahead, Justin.
Sorry, I did hear them possibly doing like a series of Paranormal Activity on, is it HBO Max or Paramount?
I did not hear that. However, I did just drop in our group chat that we have that is kind of centered around this, or was when it was on the Havoc Hour. I think Katie posted that they ordered a prequel series for Friday the 13th to
Yeah.
Peacock,
Yes.
which with everything they've been doing with Chucky is going to be fucking fantastic. And then they dropped a screenshot from the Evil Dead movie that comes out next year that I'm excited
Oh
for.
yeah, that's gonna be one.
Is that going to be? Do you know? Jeez, let me. Words.
I don't think it's related to my 2013 version.
Okay,
I think
thank
it's something separate. So
I'm glad you knew what I was trying to say because
Yeah.
words didn't really make sense.
it makes me sad because I love that.
Do you think,
2013 Evil Dead.
Do you think the prequel for Friday 13th will be kind of like a Bates Motel with like more of like the mom and the son, kind of like how they did
Well,
that? I don't know
I
if you
think
see
it's
Bates
gonna
Motel.
have to be.
Well, so and we'll talk
Well,
about
the
this on
son
the
is-
next episode.
It's only around until like, okay, the son's only around for like I think like 9 to 10 years, right?
Yes, we'll talk about this more in the next episode when I cover the slasher verse. But there's a lot of lore behind Pamela Voorhees, and then Jason's father, who was supposed to be in the series or in the franchise multiple times, and they never actually put in. But there's a lot of comic book lore and stuff behind. I can't think of his fucking name. Elias Voorhees. And Pamela Voorhees and their relationship and all of that. And then I'm assuming it'll lead up to the point to where, Jason is drowned and
Right,
Pamela
right.
loses her shit. And then you figure Jason was 10 when he died in like the 60s, 50s or 60s. And there's like a whole 30-year jump, 20 or 30-year jump between that and the first movie of whatever the fuck Pamela was doing to keep the camp closed. So that it didn't reopen. And we also don't know what the fuck was going on with Jason. Like, what? He dead, and did he come by, and was he like scrounging on fucking animals and shit in the woods as a deformed little beast? Like all of these things. So like there's a lot they could really dig into there. And then again, the whole lore of the Necronomicon being in the Voorhees Manor, Elias's second family, all the stuff that you get from Jason Goes to Hell that exists.
I cannot wait for the next episode we do because I'm just going to sit back and soak in all of the information that you are going to give. I'm very excited.
Dude,
No spoilers,
That's-
Benji. No spoilers.
that's like okay, dead. That's gonna be
No
dope.
spoilers.
Slasher verse, yo.
Yeah.
I'm getting itchy
When I
too just
decide to sit
thinking
down and
about it.
talk about that,
My arm is itchy.
is it your fake tattoo?
Which looks badass, and I probably will end up getting something right there.
You know what you should do is you should get something like that, but you should get like the fucking Death Eater symbol with the snake and the wand.
I
That'd be
could.
badass.
That's what I thought it was at first.
Oh no, it's just a snake.
Get the Death Eater symbol.
Well,
Hey.
so I decided, I think, like a little bit before I went to Salem. So this is gonna be my music sleeve, like all things music related. Obviously. But then I was just like, you know what? Let's double sleeve it up. I want a spooky sleeve.
Since you brought that up, I have a question for you guys. Honest opinion, because I was talking to my wife about this. So, I have 2 tattoos on my forearms. Both are friends who passed away.
Yes.
One unalived himself, the other tragic accident at work. I got them both done at the same time, and I have been thinking about getting them covered. It has been
Okay.
years since all of that happened. Is it fucked up to cover up memorial tattoos?
I don't think so.
No.
Can I ask why?
I was like,
Why
no,
would
and
you cover
Justin's
it
like, multiple reasons. One, I'm definitely thinking
Okay.
about keeping. One, it felt a lot more important at the time that I got them to do it than it does now where I'm at. I
I see.
as much as I love those people and their families, I'm not really close with anyone really that I was at that
Yeah.
time when I got these tattoos and all of that. And also, there's not a whole lot of real estate on my arms because I didn't do what Katie did and plan my tattoos properly. And they're just kind of an awkward placement that takes up a lot of the real estate on my arms that if I wanted to get something, I would probably have to cover them up. And the way I thought about it is they're still like, it's still there underneath the other tattoo. Like no one may see it, but I'll still know it's there. It still exists. It's not going to erase it. I'm not getting it taken off, but
Okay.
I have no
All right.
room
I
on
mean,
my bicep. Look,
He's talking to me.
like
Oh,
Pinhead,
Oh, now he's just flexing.
Chucky,
Jackie.
Freddy, like,
nice.
and there's a whole like grave thing over here, memorial for family
Grave.
members. So
This is my favorite tattoo that I have. My knives and my
your knives,
Oh,
Yeah.
I see. Yeah,
onion, garlic, and tomato.
that's cool. That's cool. Yeah. I mean that. I mean, yeah. I mean that's. I mean, if you definitely that's like a choice. So like, yeah. I mean, if you want to.
I was
He
just like,
said,
is it fucked up? And Katie and Will are like, no, it's not fucked up. And Justin's like, well, I mean, that's a choice. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
you
like,
can make that choice.
I just didn't know what else to say. But I do have some advice though. If you want to cover it up with another face, you can use mine.
Okay.
I mean, if
You
you want
know-
to talk about, I know tattoos take a long time, but since I have no hair and it's just glasses and a circle, it would be done in like 20 minutes.
Can we see your tramp stamp?
I don't know. You're gonna put me by your ass?
No, Benji's asking
Benji
you to
said-
show us your lower back
Oh.
Yeah,
tattoo.
you apparently have a tramp stamp.
Who said that? I don't got no tramp stamp.
Benji said that.
Then you gotta mad us.
Apparently he's seen it.
He wasn't supposed to say that. I thought we were disclosed
He's-
that we weren't gonna tell
First,
anybody.
Just
about
was
this.
like, "Oh no, I don't have one." 3 seconds later, he wasn't supposed to tell anybody
He
that.
wasn't. That's not. Yo, what? Dude,
Is it a
I
target?
thought we signed an agreement.
Is it like a little bullseye?
Why are you like?
Yeah, it's a little Dragon Ball. You know,
A tribal bullseye?
it's like right before he does the Kamehameha. It's just a circle, and he's just like,
I have a cock on my right foot.
yes, I know.
He does.
Yeah,
I have a right foot on my cock.
yeah. That was a
If
hilarious.
you're into
story.
feet, ladies and gentlemen, this is the part of the show.
That was
That
my
was
foot.
fun.
Big old rooster on my foot. I have a pig on the other one.
Those stories were great.
Yeah.
No, so yeah, I think that's cool. What are you gonna cover it with? Do you know?
I have not decided yet. So
Yeah,
I do
don't
want
think-
to kind of like do the conquering the fear thing, and I've had this idea of like the two Pennywise faces split in half. So one half will be the
Ooh.
Tim Curry face, and then the other half will be the Skarsgård Pennywise face, where it's split down the middle. And then, like I said, I've got this spot on my arm right there next to Leatherface, but there's not a lot of real estate if I really want to do it. So then it would have to kind of, and I also want to fill it up. And I've thought about ways to like try and incorporate it with the other tattoos. And it's like, well, the way that I had it done was really fucking weird, where like you can't really put a border around it or anything because it's not really even
Yeah.
with my arm. So
Yeah.
that's where I'm at. So like I would probably cover up this and then just leave the dates and then find something to put here with the dates afterwards. And that would finish that sleeve off. But
Sleeves. Can't wait to have sleeves.
I have a half sleeve
I always
started on
thought
my
about
left arm that nobody ever sees.
what is on
You're
that half
starting. You
sleeve?
have one.
I have half of a half sleeve started. It's a bunch of blackout work that's a mountain range and trees.
Interesting.
Oh, let's see.
Ooh, I like that.
Well, that's pretty.
Oh,
we're gonna
that's
do
cool.
a water. It's gonna have a big watercolor sunset that's gonna come up and down, and then all the black stuff right here that's dripping down is gonna have all the colors from the sunset.
That's really cool.
Dude, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Just doing that right now, I can really say when that thing is done on your sleeve, Will, your body is a wonderland.
Thank you. Thank you for realizing that, Jess. Thank you. I feel like I can sleep good tonight because I finally met Jess and he realizes that my body's a wonderland. So thank you, Matt, for making this happen tonight.
Thanks, Benji.
Oh, man.
Appreciate it.
This-
Allison,
this-
what kind of tattoos? What kind of tattoos does Allison have?
She has a bunch of video games.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
on one of
word?
her arms.
Okay.
Yeah. Like she'll make fun of me for not remembering them all. Assassin's Creed
One of the...
And Fallout.
Oh.
and Gears of War.
Ooh, I love Gears of War.
And she has a PlayStation controller, I think. No,
that's a good one.
Xbox controller. Yeah.
Xbox. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Don't inflate.
See, I don't
his
have
ego.
any tattoos. I thought about getting tattoos, but I just can't narrow it down to like what I would want. You know?
That's yeah.
My
I know a lot of
favorite,
people are like that.
my favorite tattoo is my taco dinosaur.
You are a
Taco dinosaur? What?
Yeah, I have a taco dinosaur on my leg. I have the Morton Salt Girl too. That's a Chicago thing.
So is it a
Yeah,
Morton
the
Salt
Morton-
is, and I know exactly where the fucking factory is.
Yeah.
Is it a
That's
taco
a good one.
Rex?
The Morton
No,
Salt,
it's
yeah.
it's a
that's good one.
Stegosaurus that looks like a crunchy taco.
Mm.
I'll send you guys a picture of it.
I think you tweeted it not that long ago.
Yeah, actually, I do remember that. So you guys want to hear something fucked up? Is when I get Taco Bell on rare occasions when I don't get actual Mexican food. One of the things that I love from Taco Bell that they don't have anymore is a double-decker taco.
Yeah.
But I learned that
Yes.
what you can
Oh
do
my
is you
God.
can order a soft shell taco that's just refried bean and then a crunchy taco, and then you can put them together and make your own. And I don't know how much more I'm paying from what I would have paid for a double-decker taco to create a double-decker taco, but it is so worth it to me that I do it every time I go.
You're living in 2035.
Okay, so wait, hold on, because that's my favorite one too. That's why we're friends. So wait, you order a
Soft shell
regular-
taco.
a soft shell taco, but don't they normally
Only
roll it
bean.
up though?
Well, yeah, I mean, you
Don't
unfold
they
it,
normally
it's
roll it
just
up?
bean.
So
Yeah,
you have
it's
to
just bean,
unroll
though.
it.
Like
You have to
open-
unroll it.
Well,
It's not
they don't
hard.
roll it. Like you just open it up and it's just bean, and then you put the hard
It's
shell
not a
taco
blunt,
in there, and then you
Juss.
fold it back up.
Fuck.
Now I know why
I don't know
Allison
how, but-
hates Kanye West so much.
Oh yeah.
Because-
Yeah. That was yeah. Whew. Don't open that can of worms. I've been talking about that for 2 days.
So I know you have.
Because what happened? Why? I want to know.
Just read the comment on the screen and put two and two together.
Yeah, what's up, Hodgepodge and Share Shops of the tribe, bitches?
So funny thing, we're Sicilian. Like my mom's side, Sicilian. However, apparently when they did their ancestry.com or whatever, they found out that they were Jews who moved to Sicily. So then it was this whole thing about how we're actually Jewish, not really Sicilian, but like we are Sicilian. It's a whole weird thing. My dad bought me a yarmulke because I was very proud of my Sicilian heritage. And he's like, you're not Sicilian, you're Jewish, and like bought me a yarmulke as like a thing. So now I own a yarmulke, even though I've never been, you know, in any way, shape, or form. And then I married Kate, and like that whole like her side of the family, or what she considers family, they're all Jewish. So that was like how I actually got introduced to like what Judaism really is, because like we were always Catholic because we were Italian, and that's just like until we found out that we were Jewish. So like then it was like, oh, now I actually have to go places, and they wear yarmulkes and all of these things and sit shiva and all this. Now I'm learning about like my ancestry 35 years later.
I mean,
same thing happened to me. No joke. I found out I was what did you say earlier in the episode about Katie's dad? I have one of those too.
Absentee father.
Yeah. My bio dad was never around, and I didn't realize until later in life that his granddad was full on like practicing Hasidic Jew, and then left the faith because he wanted to marry a woman outside of Judaism. So I was like, the reason why I'm not raised Jewish is because my great granddad wanted to get laid.
Papa.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Since we're on the subject, did that really bother you that I said that, Katie? Like for real?
It just really caught me off guard.
Oh, okay. Because like I said, honestly, I've heard you say it, and like
I say
talked
it
about it repeatedly. So like I thought because you've said it on stream and talked about it repeatedly, like it was an okay thing to say. And then I did feel kind of bad by your reaction when I was like, before you were a twinkle in your absentee father's eye, and you were just like, excuse me, what the fuck did you say? And then the chat was going off too. I was like, fuck.
It's more so the fact that I didn't expect you to say it. I have said it on numerous occasions. My dad's a piece of shit. Point blank period. Shout out to David. I did not expect that in any way, shape, or form. So was I shocked? Yes. Did I have a tear forming a little bit? Yes. Because I was so shook. Oh. But it's okay.
Okay.
I am fine. My dad ain't shit.
Well,
we know.
I was trying to hide my reaction because I didn't want it to think it was like too funny, because it caught me off guard as well. Just because I was drinking my coffee and then he said that, I was like, oh.
I had one of those, like, I was looking at my screen and then he said it and I looked over at the camera and was like, what?
I'm gonna have to leave a disclaimer. Please listen to the pre-show to hear that it's okay. Post-show, yes. Please listen to the post-show to hear that what I said was okay. I'm not a complete and total asshole, just a slight asshole.
Slight, but that's okay. Like I said, yeah. I've said it.
But you're our asshole, Matt. That's what matters.
I've gone on record saying it multiple times. Not to that extent, but
well, I was making the joke about Dominic on Smack and Raw, and I said something about like Ray went to SmackDown, went out and got a pack of cigarettes and didn't come back, and you said something like, oh yeah, too real or something like that, which like again, because you said things like that on stream and joked about it, I was like, oh, this is okay to joke about. And then your reaction was like, oh fuck.
Again, sometimes I say it and don't mean for it to come out. So every time there's like a dad joke, I'm just like, mood. But again, I didn't expect you to say it at all. It very much came out of left field. I've never had my jaw drop so fast. Genuinely.
Oh, that's not true. Right. Your jaw dropped just as fast when Vince played the "Shut Up, Bitch, Swallow" soundbite, and you thought it was me. It was the same reaction, which is why it freaked me out, because I was like, "Oh fuck!" Because I saw how mad you got at him when you found out it was him that used it against you, and I was like, oh no, I did not just put myself in Vince's
because
shoes.
we all said it would never be used against me.
Well, no, I said I would never use it against you.
Yeah, because you're a nice person. I wish Vince was still here. That motherfucker.
Me too. I need to
But-
find out if he would hold my hand and let me poop out of a window.
He definitely would. He definitely would.
I'm gonna-
100%.
I would hold your hand. I would not wipe.
That's why Juss is there.
That's
Damn.
right. I'll
Just
do it.
The other
I'll
thing
do
is-
it.
My best friend John, same deal. When he was a baby, his dad basically just like ran off with the babysitter, started like a whole new family, and he constantly makes jokes about how like his dad was never around and stuff like that. And it's like, so we joke about that. So I guess that's kind of like why I felt comfortable saying some fucked up shit, because like I wouldn't say I'm as comfortable with you as I am my best friend, but close to as comfortable with you as I am with John. So like,
2
because
years.
I joke around with him like that, I was like, oh, she makes jokes, so it's cool. Like, we'll make jokes. And John would have just died laughing if I had said that. Like, if I was like, oh, yeah, before you were twinkling your absentee father's eye, he would just like start busting up laughing. He's like, yeah, fuck him. But yeah,
It's okay.
so
Like
that's
I
how
said.
that happened.
Yeah.
We're good. No harm, no foul.
Oh God.
I just messaged Vince.
The shut up bitch swallow soundbite that Vince used from Wheezy. Shut up
He used
bitch
it like
swallow.
it was like what, 2 weeks ago, something like that.
Yeah, and he used it twice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was. I thought she was gonna climb through his screen.
She had her opportunity to go to Vince's house and
Like
kick him in
the
the face, and she didn't take it.
Well, now he's doing more blasphemous shit, so I might have to. Once
Let's
I
go to-
win
In terms
Porno
of
Poppy,
what
I'm
blasphemy?
coming to Chicago and drop kicking him.
Now I do have a question. What if there's a tie? Could that be? That's possible, right?
There's
So
not
what
going to be a
happens in a
tie
tie?
because he has an extra half point. Ergo, I will still lose if there's a tie.
Yes, if there's a tie, Vince wins because he produced an episode that Katie was not on, and I told him that if he produced the episode, I would give him a half-point tiebreaker for producing the episode.
I would just like to point out that my advocate said there should be a way I can get an extra like half point by doing something. Because I thought I wasn't gonna make it for the Salem show, and I did. So I was just like, I told you I'm not going down without a fight. Because he's the reason this kind of started. Because he allowed it. So
By the way,
So technically
Vince
you guys
did
are
then.
tied, right?
Right now they're tied.
Oh, okay. I actually didn't know.
Yes, right now you're tied. Vince would have gone up one if you were not there, which would have allowed him to go to the Get Your Bulls game. And now he's kind of pissed that he couldn't. And I'm like, you said you weren't going to go anyway because you wanted to win decisively. He's like, yeah, but I would have liked to have the option. And now I don't have the option.
It's the fact that he's just like, oh, I can't go do things. Yes, you can.
Not if he wants to win.
It's not that fucking serious.
Actually, I didn't update it last week. So as of right now, because
think,
I've been kind of shitty at updating it, it's 28-28 per the unofficial poor scorekeeping that I'm doing.
There's a lot of days left, though. You know, a lot of days.
Mm-hmm. I'm ready.
Which actually doesn't even make sense. Oh no, I guess it does, because I was adding them together, but like you filled in some weeks that he wasn't here, he was here some weeks that you were like you had to take like 4
You
weeks
benched
off,
me for 4 weeks.
which you also have that caveat. You can always just keep coming back and saying, yeah, I lost, but I also got benched for 4 weeks, and if I hadn't, I
Yeah.
would have won. So fuck you. Like you have that.
Yeah. Oh, I 1,000% would have won had Matt not benched me.
Will wants to go to Chicago. Oh, by the way, Will, at some point I'll be coming to Tennessee because John just moved to Tennessee and is down there and so we'll be going to visit him and Caroline and all of that. So like at some point I'll be there and I'll have to be like, hey, Will,
What part of Tennessee are you gonna be going to?
It is somewhere. It's outside of Nashville, I believe.
Oh, that's where we live, so that's perfect.
Yeah. Let me actually hold on because he should be awake.
Well,
Doesn't have a life.
if Nashville is here, Allison lives here, and I live here.
Are you FaceTiming him?
I am.
Yeah, and it's not that far of a drive. It's like 6 hours from
Hey,
here.
sexy.
What's up, dude?
Hey, where do you live in Tennessee?
Hendersonville.
Hendersonville.
I graduated from Gallatin.
I am on a podcast. Well, I'm actually on the post show right now with a buddy who lives in Tennessee, Will Gray, and he said he graduated from Gallatin.
Oh, it's right around the corner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
So him and Allison both live in Tennessee, and I was telling him, I'm like, when I come visit, you guys will have to hit them up and say hi. But maybe I could like hook you and Will up. You guys could hang out, and you could have a new like pseudo mat for when I'm not around to watch wrestling and stuff with. Since you left me like a piece of shit here in Chicago.
Does he like to cuddle?
Will does like to cuddle, and he cooks. He's a chef. So it would be like if me and Micah fucked and had a baby.
It'd be Will.
It'd be Will.
That's not.
Yeah. Your last two roommates before, Caroline.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that works. I'm for it.
I was like, I'm like, I know John's up. Let me call him and find out where the fuck he's at.
Of course I'm up.
Yeah. So.
Sounds good, man.
All right. Well, I'll let you get back to whatever you weren't doing.
I'm just watching Andor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right. Love you,
It's a
dude.
good show.
Love you too.
It's good.
All right, bye.
But
I'm caught up.
I've known John since I was 3.
Are you?
That's awesome.
Yeah. I am not caught up. So here's the deal. I told Kate this weekend, I was like, hey, we have to watch Andor. And she goes, I thought it fucking ended. And she said the same thing last week. She has not been enjoying Andor. She's like, how long is this fucking show? So I'm going to find out if I can just watch it without her or if I need to wait for it because she's already like 7 episodes. I think the last episode was episode 8 or 7, 1 or 2. Whatever it is, we did not watch the last one. So yeah, she's 7 episodes in at this point. So I want to know if she just wants to finish it out of spite or if I'm good to go without her. Because otherwise, I'll be catching up next weekend with 2 episodes.
Nah, this shit's popping off. I'm so excited.
But you know what? I do understand what Kate's saying because, like, it is literally like a 7-hour movie that's just cut up. So maybe
I kinda
waiting
like
for
it,
all the
though.
episodes to come
I
out.
like it like that.
I had to block
Yeah, me too.
Sexy Finder.
Yeah, I see that.
Why did we have to
Oh.
block Sexy Finder?
Because Sexy Finder was trying to get me to find. I'm also going to block 69xxx.site because we're the porn hub around here, and I don't need some other,
Porn bots.
porn bots coming in trying to steal my thunder with free vert girls chat here.
Oh, thank you.
You can
Yuck.
spell vert right.
No me gusta. No gracias.
Yeah,
I
but
know they're
like,
not virtual. They did spell it right. Yeah.
it's like literally like a 7-hour, 8-hour movie.
Well,
It's good,
now
though.
I'm
It
just
is good.
curious to see where it ends because then I have to really put myself through Rogue One again and cry. So like I'm not looking forward to that, but
Yeah.
I'm excited to see where Andor ends to see like where it like picks up for Rogue One.
True. I think they said it's like what 3 or 4 years before actually Rogue One happens.
I can't remember what they said.
But I know it's like
I'll have to look it
early.
up.
It's real early because they don't even
that's what I
have
was
like
gonna do.
a group.
Fuck.
They don't even have a group yet.
Allison, if you're still here, hold on a second. So Allison asked when the race ends, and I went to my phone to do that, and then I saw them saying that they wanted to come to Chicago, and I got distracted and talked about that. And then John, who bought, look, again, Hendersonville, Jonathan Gruzius, Caroline Sandrell. If you find them, love them, great people. The episode will end December 30th will be our last episode of the year. So it depends because Travis made us take holidays off. So if Travis tells us we have to take like the last 3 weeks of the year off again because he won't put the episodes up, and makes me take off for like Christmas and everything in between until after the beginning of the new year, then it will be the last episode. Why did I scroll up like that? Oh no, now I'm in 2023. Don't do that. Would be the 16th or the 23rd, depending on how Travis makes us do it. So it'll either be the 16th or the 30th, one of the two. So there's either
It makes it
1,
kind
2,
of closer.
3, 4, 5, 6. So
That's like
at the least, there's 7 weeks left of the
Yeah,
year.
7 weeks. Yeah. Oh my
Oh
god.
my god.
Yeah.
7 more episodes left.
I would
What?
just like to state for the record, I have busted my ass for Smacking It Raw. And if I lose, I'm going to be devastated.
I know how to get you an extra. Well, not how to get you a half point, but here's what I'm going to say this so everyone watching is witness. I will tell Vince this if he pulls some bullshit. So the deal is that Smacking It Raw is my baby. However, because he is my co-host and he has access to do all of this stuff, in emergency situations, if I cannot make it due to something going on, Vince will host a show, which we have talked about the last 2 weeks. This week is going to be another one of those weeks, but it should be the last one because everyone's on vacation. We should be fully staffed again after this. However, if Vince is hosting the show and does not invite you, I will give you the point for that week plus a half point because he purposely left you off the show.
Do you
And
think
then-
he actually would not invite me?
I don't know.
I don't
because-
think he wouldn't.
Hasn't
I don't
he?
think
Hasn't he
wouldn't. I
tried
don't
some
think he
shit
wouldn't.
already?
because while he's told me it's like, oh, it's fun, this and that, blah, blah, blah. Like he does some shit just to like get reactions and everything. So I don't know if he would or not, but if he does, and then if it is tied at the end of the show with both of your half points and he doesn't have that half point caveat, the race for Pornhub Poppy will come down to a vote. It will be democratic process. Will
No.
I will allow voting for who the Pornhub Poppy is.
Yes.
Oh,
I'm gonna
fuck.
start
A vote.
making banners.
I don't know. If
No,
that
just
will-
I already know whose fucking side you're on. It doesn't matter.
Well, wait a minute now. Hold on. I have half sides. No, but
Fuck off, Benji.
I don't know because like a vote just seems like it's kind of like I'm not. How do I say this?
Favorites?
Kind of unfair.
No, what would be unfair is if I decided who the Pornhub Poppy was because it's my show.
Yeah.
That would be unfair if I said, okay, well, you guys came out tied. This is the Pornhub Poppy. Allowing the people that watch the show decide who they feel Pornhub Poppy should be because they both busted their ass and came out with a tie. And
Yeah.
mind you, the only way they could tie is if Vince pulls some shady shit and doesn't invite Katie on a show that I can't be at.
But you know he will invite
So-
Katie anyway. He just likes to.
We don't know
yeah,
that.
I like
We really don't know that. He might, because like he hit me up when I told him I wasn't gonna be there. He's like, "Is it okay if I get my own co-hosts?" And we had mentioned to him repeatedly Katie might be available, and he still sighed when Katie was. And he had you and Benji on deck in case. Yeah. And he did not mention hitting up Katie in any way, shape, or form. So there is no guarantee that he wouldn't just be like, I'm not going to invite Katie, and then just invite you and Benji on and do that. And if he does that, then it goes to a vote because he pulled some shady shit, and now they're tied. So
I'm.
Maybe he was just
Uh,
because he just thought because the Salem and all that. Just thought, oh, maybe.
You guys act like I haven't podcasted on vacation before.
not only that, she was in the group chat saying it, and Vince responded to the fucking reply
Oh, you know
about
what?
what
I
is
didn't
this
see that.
maybe
I didn't
shit.
see that.
Yeah. So
Bitch, just have them fight it out like Raw Underground.
Oh, I don't.
Will, I don't hate you. I don't understand why you have this narrative.
I'm gonna.
What about,
start it every day? I'm gonna say day one of whatever, for trying to figure out why Katie Kinsey baby hates
you
me.
really
I'm gonna tweet
should.
it every day.
You
just to
should
see
take
if
a
I can
picture of
figure-
yourself confused, like they do, like the 365 days of Alexa Bliss,
Uh-huh.
and it's just a picture of
Yes.
Alexa Bliss until I forget, and it'll just be a picture of you confused, tagging Katie
As
saying,
to why does Katie hate me?
"Yeah, 365
every
days
day.
of why figuring out why Katie hates me until I forget."
Uh-huh.
When I
Starting on November
legitimately
1st.
do not know why you have this narrative that I hate you. I don't know where this came from.
What about you?
Yeah, I
have
don't
them,
have any idea.
Have them do a trivia thing when it ties up. instead of
No,
a vote.
because it's my show, and I said democratic process. We're going to vote. Stop trying to swing this in the favor of your boy Vince.
That's not true. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. What if something else, could could work.
Yeah,
as a
because
plan.
you're like,
Yes.
what if we do like a trivia thing? Like, oh, I don't know, like Bulls trivia. Yeah, like
No, I mean
Yeah.
you. No,
Get
you
your
would come out with the
biased Vince loving
no.
ass out of here.
Wait a minute. You come up with the trivia questions. You yourself come up with the trivia questions.
But see, that's
Yes, and
also
then we
not
all
going to
can
be
watch.
fair.
You
That's
can
also
use it. You can use it as a stream. The race for
that's
Pornhub,
also not going to be fair
streaming
because a
live.
lot of the shit that I would come up with is probably shit that would be more biased to Katie because we have more things in common that we like. So, like, if I went with Star Wars or horror movies, which Vince is not a horror fan, I don't know Bulls or like fucking Bad Bunny songs. So I don't know like
I have an
What if
idea.
you did it as a wrestling trivia? What if you did it as a wrestling trivia?
No. How about the race for Pornhub Poppy is actually a race, and Vince and Katie have to run around Chicago?
No, I got bad knees. Fuck that.
I mean, the only way we could
Um,
really do it, like really do it as a race, is if I bring them on and I'm like, all right, the race for Pornhub Poppy begins, and I kick them both out of the call, and they both have to, whoever gets back in the call first is the Pornhub Poppy.
Oh wow, that's crazy. That would be
But
crazy.
fuck with them and end the meeting and start a new one with a fresh link, so neither of their links
I would
work
win.
anymore.
Yeah.
I would win that, by the
Then
way.
she says, "Have a dance off."
I would 1,000%
Oh
win.
snap! Oh snap!
In a dance
You got
off?
serve. You got serve.
It's one of my favorite movies.
It is. It's a good.
Here's
one.
the
It
thing. Here's why I said democratic process. Let's let them vote, and then I'm going to end the broadcast and try and go watch Hell House LLC before I have to go to bed. The fans, you guys, everyone in the chat, everyone that watches, Smacking Raw every week, other podcasters that love our show, you guys should decide, because you watch the show, because you're invested in the show, who you think after everything that's happened is Pornhub Poppy. Now, if Vince has made himself unappealing to certain people through bits and gimmicks that he did, if he has made himself, but also appealed to certain people through bits and gimmicks that he's done, like, that was Vince's choice throughout the year. He made that choice. He is where he is. If Katie has also done the same thing and somehow made herself unappealing to certain voters, like Will, because she hates him, like, it is what it is. Those were the choices that they made. So I feel like the best way is to put it to, Twitter and let everyone vote on who the Pornhub Poppy should be.
We're talking about this like it's actually going to happen.
It is going to happen. It is going to happen.
It's not. No, but that's the thing. It's not going to happen if Vince doesn't pull shady shit.
I have
I
to
see
not
what
be
you're
able to make the episode,
But-
Yeah,
and then Vince has to pull shady shit.
because he has that.
But there still
extra
will be a
half
tie.
point.
There still will be
No.
a tie, though.
I
No,
don't have a
Justin,
half
there will-
point
Vince has a half point. We talked about this.
Oh,
Vince has an
okay.
extra half point for
from
producing
the
the,
Public
show.
Enemies.
That is the
Young
tie
Kings
breaker.
episode.
Yeah, from the Public Enemies, Young Kings. Yes.
Oh.
So he already has the tiebreaker. Vince has it.
Yeah.
So unless Vince pulls some shady shit, it does not come down to a vote. So two things have to happen. I have to not make it, and Vince has to host the show. And then Vince also has to be petty as shit and try and win by not inviting Katie so he gets an extra point. And then it comes down to a vote.
Can I ask you a question, Katie?
Yeah.
What if none of the guys, Vince or Matt, can make it? I mean, what if? Yeah, and then would you?
I don't have access to StreamYard.
Oh, you don't.
I'm not a part of the show. I am, but I'm not. Like, I don't have access to all of this. I'm not the Twitters. Nothing. That's not. I'm just an unofficial official co-host.
I got you. As a unofficial official member of Marks and Mike, I understand.
Exactly.
Exactly. Justin, you yourself are on most of the episodes of Mark with Mike's. You're like one of the guys. However, you can't just do a Marks with Mike's episode without the rest of the guys.
No. And if that were to happen, there would be an episode like almost every day.
But JT could do an episode, or Cheech
Yeah,
could do
and
an
Cheech could do an
episode.
episode. Yeah.
Exactly. Same thing with Katie. Vince can do an episode if I'm not there. I can do an episode if Vince isn't around. But Katie can't just do an episode of Smacking Her Off for shits and giggles.
Would you though? Give her
I
access.
want to set
Yeah.
out next week. I want Allison to do an episode of Botch Spots and Share Shots without me. I'm not coming to work on Thursday.
Ooh.
Allison, I'm calling out. You're hosting the show on Thursday night.
Ooh.
I'm curious.
Ooh.
I also have to remember to make that video and send it to you.
The 100th episode is on the 10th, by the way, not tomorrow.
Okay, so I got time.
So you still got a week, yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting. Yeah, okay. These are just questions. If it comes to a vote, I'm not voting, by the way.
Just, it's okay. I know your vote's for Vince, and that's okay.
I can't choose between my friends like that.
I know who it is. It's okay.
Allison's
No,
gonna
but-
vote for Katie
I know she is. That's my
And
girl.
Will's
gonna
going to
vote-
vote for Vince.
because Katie hates me.
Shut the fuck up. Listen, I'm still waiting to
This
do
is
this
the best
intergender
thing ever.
show, Will. I'm waiting on
And
you.
this is how you know how delayed the stream is for them listening, because she just responded, nope.
and then fuck
And
you.
then
Will.
fuck you, no.
What is she saying nope to?
That
Oh,
you
to
called
me,
off.
not even showing up to work. I had already forgotten.
Somebody
About her
get
hosting the
Benji out of
show
here.
without you. You're not coming in.
Allison, I'm not working.
Did you see what
unfortunately.
Benji said?
Benji.
He said he wants to be
Dude.
the guest for that episode, the last episode. The
Well, seeing as I am taking an undetermined break from guests, I don't know how long Smack and Raw is going to go. I know I still have to rebook Kings of the Rings, but other than that, probably sometime late November, if not December, if not just through the end of the year. We're doing a guest hiatus from Smack and Raw for a little bit. After that point, so no, Benji, you won't be on that show. Sorry, you're not invited.
And when the hiatus is over, we're doing the Botch Bots and Share Shots takeover, smacking it raw.
Yeah.
Nice.
Mhm.
That's fun.
And then we're gonna have all three of you guys come in on a Thursday and do it the other way.
Okay.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that'd be interesting.
Uh-huh.
It's spirit time. Get you.
I fucking hate Benji. I know.
All
I know
right.
who Benji's voting for.
I am up way past my bedtime.
I was going to say, all right, goblins and ghouls, I am going to end the stream. Have a good night. Thanks for hanging out.
Hey, bye.
Night, guys.
Bye.